Carolina became the 5th team in the history of Super Regional Baseball, a format that dates back to 1999 at the Division I level, to score 18 or more runs in Game 1 of a Super. Among the previous 4 teams, none have won Game 2 in regulation, and 2 have in fact lost the series. Tar Heels have got to be locked in today, and if they are, well, trip to Omaha certainly seems in the cards.
Tar Heels certainly have a chance to get locked in first at the plate as the designated visiting team today, playing in its own ballpark, and this ballpark is packed. Better than 2 hours before this one got started, there was a line of folks going down the street back towards the Rams Head deck, and once the gates opened, Heels fans have flooded the ballpark. It's a sea of Carolina blue as far as the eye can see in almost any direction as we get ready for Game 2 between Carolina and Arizona. Let's get things started off first with today's starting lineup presented by Coors Light, Mountain Cold Refreshment, Choose Chill, and official beer of your North Carolina Tar Heels. Celebrate responsibly. First for Carolina, the center fielder leading off, Kane Kepley. Batting second, the second baseman, Jackson Vanderbrake. Luke Stevenson hits third and plays catcher. The middle third has the cleanup hitter, Gavin Gallagher, playing third base. There's not been a hotter hitter in the country than Gallagher, who was the regional's most outstanding player, going 13 for 18 with 7 extra base hits and 10 RBIs. And then yesterday, 4 for 5 with 3 runs scored and 2 RBIs. That's Gavin Gallagher here as of late. The first baseman, Hunter Stokely, hits behind Gallagher. He stroked a home run yesterday. The shortstop, Alex Madera, bats 6th. In the 7 spot, it's the right fielder, Tyson Bass, followed by the DH, Sam Angelo, who rocked his 3rd home run out of Bossemer Stadium in the NCAA tournament on Friday. And in the 9 hole, it's the left fielder, Carter French. The Tar Heels will get a look at Raul Garrazar, 6'4", 219-pound senior righty out of Rio Rico, Arizona. Garrazar's got a record of 2-0, an ERA just above 2.5. Opponents hitting .225 off the Arizona hurler. Partner, he's got a fastball, a cutter, a changeup, and a new pitch he's introduced this year, a slider.
And he's bounced between a starting role and a relief role for the Wildcats over the course of this year. There was some speculation that Arizona may, with their season on the line, go with Smith Bailey, a freshman right-hander who's been pitching well of late, but Arizona is opting to keep Bailey on schedule and use him in a potential Game 3, so Carolina will get a look at Garrazar. Perhaps not going to give Arizona a ton of depth into this game, but the Wildcats, by virtue of being on the wrong end of a lopsided score yesterday, did not use their high-leverage bullpen arms.
Picturesque setting downstairs on Bryson Field. The mound has got this light tint to it with the way that the dirt has been manicured. Also, light dirt on the foul side of third and first. The dirt's a lot darker inside the batter's boxes and around the infield. The grass is green. The wind is barely blowing to left, and it is hot and sticky outside with our first inning temperature brought to you by B&T Heating and Air Conditioning, sitting at 82 degrees and cloudy. That's B&T Heating and Air Conditioning, family-owned and doing it right the first time, every time, and no doubt with time to look back on things. The Heat played a big role yesterday. Arizona had a couple of guys that couldn't continue after this one got started.
Yeah, we wondered why Arizona pulled the pitcher, the second one that they put in the game, Michael Hilker Jr., as well as the outfielder Aaron Walton. The answer was cramping and dehydration for both of them. Chip Hale, Arizona's head coach, said, that's not an excuse. He said it's on me to make sure that our guys are better prepared for these environments, but he also pointed out that he felt it was more hot, more humid, more sticky when Arizona played their final series of the regular season on the road at Houston.
The Tar Heels got off to a fast start yesterday with 5 runs coming in the bottom of the first. The Heels first to the plate today in the top of 1, adorning their Carolina blue tops, dark numerals, white lettering, white pants, and the navy blue batting helmets. Arizona, a couple thousand miles from home in the home whites with the navy blue caps, the red A on the front, as Garrazar and Kepley get ready to face off to begin today's game. Sellout crowd, had better than 4,000 here yesterday, and I think there'll be a jump in attendance here today. Karen Shelton Stadium's last row of the bleachers above the right field wall packed to capacity as fans are seated and ready to go as Garrazar kicks and fires. Off-speed pitch misses high to Kepley, who's out in front, 1 ball and no strikes. We're off and running. The official Rouge Jewelers first pitch time came away at 12:06. That's Rouge Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. The second pitch to the lefty. Again, missed the zone with a fastball. 2-0 to Kepley, who brings a .292 average to the ballpark today. Hit his third home run of the season on Friday. He's driven in 30. The 2-0. Outside, 3 balls and no strikes. When Garazar is missed, he's not missed by much. Disciplined eye by Kepley at the plate. A 3-0 count as Arizona and Carolina get underway in Game 2 of the Supers. Next pitch. And that's a called strike on the outside corner to Kepley, taking every step of the way. 3-1.
First time we see the four-seam fastball from Garazar. That'll sit 91-95. The cutter came in on the previous pitch, 88-90. Changeup and slider, as you mentioned as well, Dave.
3-1. Well wide, and Kepley tosses the bat, sprints down to first base, and the table setter aboard in the top of the first. With nobody out and no score, here comes Jackson Vanderbrake. The walk by Garazar is just his 17th on the season, up against 45 strikeouts. Garazar getting his 8th start of the season, and a must-have moment for the Wildcats, who fell yesterday to the Tar Heels 18-2 in Game 1.
And just like yesterday's game when Kepley was hit by a pitch, he gets on base to begin Carolina's half of the first without taking his bat off the shoulder.
Vanderbrake, a righty, stands in. First pitch drops low, 1 ball and no strikes. The Tar Heels second baseman hits for a .308 average, 7 home runs, 54 RBIs on the season. The Wildcats have Tommy Splain holding Kepley over at first base, and a shift on with Garen Caulfield, the second baseman, Mason White, the shortstop, and Maddox Michalakis on the left side of the infield. The 1-0. Strike, waist high call to make it 1-1. Adonis Guzman behind the plate catching. Easton Brayfogle is out in left field. Aaron Walton, the center fielder, and Brendan Summerhill out in right. Kepley with the lead off of first base. Vanderbrake awaits the 1-1. It's on the way, and it's high. 2 balls and a strike. Garazar falls behind his second consecutive Tar Heel.
A lot of misses up, a lot of misses in early on from Garazar. Saw Vanderbrake with his patience and plate discipline yesterday coax 3 walks in his first 3 trips up to bat.
The count, 2 balls and a strike as Garazar throws over to first. Kepley dives back in safely. He's got the oven mitt on his left hand, and he's got 43 steals to his credit this year. That's 4th all-time in a single season in Carolina history. 43 for 47 is Kepley in the swipe department. The 2-1, Kepley takes off. Pitch was high, throw down to second. Kepley in safely without the tag. It's his 44th steal of the season, and just like that, Carolina's got a runner in scoring position with nobody down in the top of the first. Looking to get on the board here as Arizona fights for its life and survival in 2025.
Picked a good pitch to run on. That was a slider from Garazar. Came in at 82. Kepley now in scoring position, and Vanderbrake will in the driver's seat 3-1.
From the stretch, Garazar fires, and Vanderbrake swats it foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Stevenson on deck for Carolina. He snapped out of a slump yesterday, going 2 for 5, driving in 4, and homering for the 19th time in the Heels' 16-run win. Center fielder Walton shades Vanderbrake to right center by a few steps as Garazar comes set, checks to second. The payoff pitch inside. Vanderbrake takes a walk, and the Tar Heels have 2 aboard. Garazar's not walked more than 3 in his career in a single game. He's walked the first 2 today, and already some bodies heading down towards the Arizona bullpen. You have to imagine for head coach Chip Hale, it's a short leash for anybody on the mound today, given the consequences of today's game.
Well, given that they're probably holding Smith Bailey for tomorrow, as pitching coach Kevin Vance is going to go to the mound already for Arizona, this is an all-hands-on-deck situation for the Wildcats. The leash will be very short. They are quite literally playing for their season today, and they will worry about tomorrow outside of the starting pitcher, possibly when they get there, if they get there.
It's an important mound meeting as well. Again, we're just in the top of the first with no score. Kepley at second, Vanderbrake at first. Another mound meeting this inning would necessitate a change, so Garazar's got to find a way to fight through this. Arizona's got to stomach some of what's going on with 2 early walks. Kepley stole second, And Luke Stevenson at the plate saw his average jump back up to 257 yesterday with that 2-for-5 performance. We mentioned the 19 homers at Leeds, Carolina, and 57 RBIs. Sits third on the roster behind only Gavin Gallagher and Hunter Stokely.
And it's worth noting Garazar did have a bumpy start against Utah Valley on Saturday in the second game of the NCAA Eugene Regional. Tagged for 4 runs, 3 earned in 3 innings, but had been pitching really well before that. 2 runs allowed over 14 2/3 in his last 3 starts against Big 12 competition.
Following the mound meeting, Stevenson from the left side looks at the first pitch, inside for a ball. 1-0 to the Carolina catcher as the wind tussles those 3 flags atop the batter's eye in center, blowing towards left. Sunny day with a little bit of cloud cover. Hot, sticky, muggy, heavy, and search your own word. It's a thick environment as the 1-0 pitch comes from Garazar outside to Stevenson. Ball 2 and a 2-0 count to the first-team All-ACC performer.
It is not the dry heat of the Sonoran Desert, that's for sure.
Vandebreak off of first base. Blaine placed behind the runner near the line. Kepley off as second. Garazar angles to the plate and misfires high. 3-0. Down in the bullpen, Garrett Hicks, a 6'1 righty, is up and working, and this game is only 7 minutes old. Here's the 3-0 to Stevenson. Caught a piece of the outside corner. Fastball connects to make it 3-1, but Garazar far from out of the woods just yet with 2 on and nobody down. In the top of the first, the Tar Heels threatening early with Stevenson at the plate. Here comes the next pitch from the righty. Stevenson bounces to second base with the shift on. The throw to second gets 1, and that's the only one that Arizona can get. 4-6 on the fielder's choice. Vandebreak is out. Kepley down to third base. Stevenson safe at first. And Gavin Gallagher, who has played out of this world in the last week and change, comes to hit.
There's no hotter hitter on this planet than Gavin Gallagher. Yesterday, another 4-hit performance. The only out he made was the ball that was scalded into the left center field gap, and Aaron Walton had to make an acrobatic tumbling catch to take away an extra base hit. He was that close to being 5 for 5.
Gallagher's had 4 hits in a game 3 times in his last 4 outings. He hits here with runners at the corners, 1 down in the first, no score. Initial offering, swung past the slider. 0-1 to Apex's finest again with all the commotion he's caused at the plate. .333 average, best on the team. Second in homers with 17, leads the roster with 67 ribbies. Kepley at third, Stevenson at first. The 0-1 to the righty. Framed well by the catcher Guzman on the outside corner. It's 0-2. Mark Wagers calling the balls and strikes. Kevin Sweeney, the first base umpire. Wilson Rayner at second. Down the line at third, straddling the line, it's John Brammer. 0-2, the count to Gallagher. Pitch on the way. High and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Carolina sophomore third baseman who stares down the line to Coach Forbes in the third base coach's box. Coach Jackson in the top right corner of the first base coach's box, baking out in the sunlight. The 1-2. And Gallagher goes down swinging as Garazar went back to the slider. A huge strikeout, which keeps this game scoreless. It puts 2 down in the top of the first, and it brings Hunter Stokely to the plate. Arizona not quite out of the woods yet after Kepley and Vandebreak took consecutive walks. Stevenson hit into a fielder's choice before Gallagher went down on strikes.
Just one fastball that Gallagher saw that entire at-bat. Now it's up to Hunter Stokely to capitalize here. Otherwise, Carolina is in danger of not taking advantage of back-to-back walks. Garazar has really settled down ever since Coach Vance went to the mound, Dave.
Big shift on the right side. The first pitch to Stokely sinks low. 1 ball and no strikes to the Carolina lefty. Stokes' average sits at .328 coming to the ballpark today, tied for the team lead with 76 hits. He's hit 14 homers and driven in 65. No score, top of the first, 2 down for the Heels. Runners at the corners. The 1-0. Garazar induces a foul ball from Stokely that's popped up and out of play left side. Won the count to the Wilson native. Second baseman Caulfield is, I don't know what you say, 10, 15 yards back on the outfield grass, Matt?
Easily.
The shortstop, White, playing where your second baseman normally would be. The first baseman holds the runner. The 1-1. Fastball at 94 inside. Stokely out in front, 2 balls and a strike.
It's worth noting that yesterday, Carolina was fantastic at beating these Arizona shifts. Really unselfish at bats. Whether it was Gallagher, whether it was Stokely, letting the ball get deep, making good contact, going the opposite way.
2-1. Stokely fouls it off at the plate. Ball bounced in the batter's box, hit his foot, and skipped towards the mound. 2-2 the count to Stokely. The backstory on yesterday's 18-2 win for Carolina, the Tar Heels were 11 for 21 with runners on base, 9 for 15 with runners in scoring position, and 16 for 23 when they had the chance to advance runners.
Situational hitting wins you ball games.
Can Stokely hit here? The 2-2. Lobs it foul again towards the left side. Hits the top of the roof and bounds away. Still 2-2 as some fresh baseballs brought out to Mark Wagers, a 2-pocket guy, as he deposits a trio of baseballs into either side of his hip. No score, top of the first. Carolina with runners at first and third. Stokely awaits a 2-2 here from Garazar, trying to get out of the inning. The pitch. Bouncing ball towards Coach Jackson. Makes a business decision to get out of the way, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Stokely. Madera in the on-deck circle would be next if Stokely can reach. If not, Arizona to the plate in the bottom half of the first. Summerhill, Walton, and White. That's the top third of Coach Hale's order. They'll see Jason DeCaro. How about another 2-2 from the righty to the lefty? Outside, ball 3.
That was a cutter that did not cut.
We're early in the top of the first, but this feels like a gargantuan pitch. Ball forward, load the bases for Madera. A strike ends the inning. Any sort of contact makes it interesting. Here it comes. It's inside, and Stokely takes a walk. It's the third issued of the inning. It pushes Stevenson to second. Kepley remains at third. Sacks are packed for the man they call AMAT, Alex Madera.
Garazar, who had been pretty solid with his command all season, we talked about it, just 16 walks issued on the year into his outing today, 3 of them in 1 inning. But Carolina still yet to push a run across, falls on the shoulders of the veteran shortstop.
Initial offering to Madera, drops in for a strike as he starts him off backwards. 0-1 to the .330 hitter. Madera, a couple of home runs, 38 RBIs. He hits with 2 down in the top of the first. Bases loaded. No score in Game 2 of the Supers between Carolina and Arizona. The Heels won yesterday 18-2. The 0-1. Fastball inside. 1-1 to the Carolina shortstop. Madera came up huge last year in Game 7 of the Regional against LSU with a game-winning RBI that sent the Tar Heels to a 4-3 win in 10. Can he come up big here? The 1-1. Swinging a fly ball directed the other way, foul. 1-2 to Madera, who takes a step out of the batter's box. Jumps back in with Garazar fighting to get out of the top of the first that's seen him walk 3 separate Tar Heels. The righty comes set from the middle of the mound. The 1-2 to the lefty. Madera slaps a line drive to left. It was Breyfogle coming in, has to retreat, makes the catch, and the inning is over. The ball jumped off the bat of Madera but was lined right to Breyfogle. And the top of the first ends with the Tar Heels going scoreless without registering a hit. Arizona played it clean in the field, but 3 left on base. The Wildcats to the plate, and the bottom of 1. No score between Carolina and Arizona It's game 2 of the Supers from Learfield.
You sit in traffic now, but later, there's an ice cold reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. You've earned this rich golden lager with a crisp, refreshing taste. Because you know, all your patience is paid out in gold. You remain calm through honks, bumper to bumper, and people yelling. Come on, move! You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Hey Tar Heel fans, this is Dave Nathan, here to remind you that revenue generated from the sale of officially licensed Tar Heel merchandise directly supports both need and merit-based scholarships for Carolina students. Next time you're shopping for your favorite Tar Heel gear, make sure to look for the officially licensed collegiate product label before you buy. This ensures the product has been approved by the university. Be blue and true, buy licensed, fund scholarships, and go Heels.
Dave Nathan and Matt Krause welcoming you back to Chapel Hill and Boshamer Stadium. Festive environment for Carolina baseball here in early June with Arizona in town. We go to the home half of the first. The Wildcats, the home team today. Again, scoreless after the Tar Heels left the bases loaded in the top of the first. U of A brings Summerhill, Walton, and White to the plate. And they'll see Jason DeCaro, 6'5", 230-pound softball righty out of Northport, New York. DeCaro, a record of 9-3, third most wins in the ACC, right around 25th nationally in wins. ERA of 3.5, number 6 in the ACC. Opponents hitting .238 off of DeCaro, who gets his 16th start of the season. And for as good as Jake Knapp has been for the entirety of the season, Matt, I feel like Knapp has taken away some of the luster from what DeCaro has done here as of late. He's been just as good.
There's a delineation mark in DeCaro's season, and that was between the Duke series and the Wake Forest series. Ever since he went to the Sunday role for a few weeks, he revitalized his season, now pitching in what's essentially the Saturday role, the number 2 starter for the Tar Heels. Carolina's not lost a game started by DeCaro since April the 4th.
Summerhill, a lefty at the plate, faces the first pitch and grounds it softly off the left side of the mound to short. Madera scoops it up, throws to first. And there's one pitch and one out. Summerhill set down 6-3. Walton next up to the plate for the Wildcats when the home half of the first. 0-0 between Carolina and Arizona.
Big difference in the efficiency for DeCaro and Garazar to get things started. Summerhill chases a pitch and grounds it weakly to short. Very, very similar to the ball that he hit that became an inning-ending, rally-killing double play yesterday in the second inning, when Arizona was down 5-1, had the bases loaded with one out, couldn't score.
First pitch to Walton. Drops in neatly for a strike on the inside corner. DeCaro goes off speed, and it's 0-1 to Walton, a .319 hitter. Second on the team with 14 homers. He's driven in 48 as DeCaro sets to fire the next offering. That's a fastball, bashed on the ground between second and short, left of the bag, and into left center field. Kepley races in front of Carter French to get it off the grass and hold Walton to a one-out single. That'll put Mason White at the plate. 0-0 again, our score in the bottom of the first. The Tar Heels have Hunter Stokely at first, holding the runner. Jackson Vanderbrake at second. The shortstop, Alex Madera. Gavin Gallagher at the hot corner. Luke Stevenson behind the plate catching. The outfield from left to right. Carter French, Kane Kepley, and Tyson Bass. Matt, for as often as Arizona shifted yesterday against the Tar Heels, Carolina shifts defending the right side against the lefty White.
Whole lot of space open on the left.
DeCaro from out of the stretch for the first time. Delivers a first pitch fastball right down Franklin Street, called a strike. 0-1 to White. Hits for a .331 average. Team leader in homers and RBIs. He's gone yard 19 times while driving in 70. The 0-1 to the lefty. Hit hard, and he beats the shift. Another single to left center field. Walton trucks around second. He's into third, sliding feet first. Consecutive singles for the Wildcats. Has Arizona with runners at first and third and one down in a scoreless first inning. Adonis Guzman, who was the hottest Wildcat yesterday, next up to the plate. He was 4 for 4 with a double and an RBI. Arizona pounded out 10 hits in the game. Guzman accounted for nearly half of them.
That was the most hits Jake Knapp had given up in a start as a Tar Heel. Arizona, despite being blown out yesterday, 18-2, had themselves a pretty solid offensive day. Just missed on some opportunities early in the game. Now here's a big one for the Wildcats.
Righty-righty matchup between DeCaro and Guzman. First motion, it's a strike. Called on the outside corner, 0-1 to Guzman. So those 4 hits bring his average up to 321. Still sitting on 8 homers with 41 RBIs. Carolina's got Vanderbrake, Madera, and Gallagher on the dirt between second and third. Stokely holds the runner at first with the 0-1. Sliced foul up against the netting near the Arizona on-deck circle. Guzman into a 0-2 hole against DeCaro. There is not a vacant seat inside Bosmer Stadium. This place is packed to the gills for Game 2 of the Super Regional. The 0-2 from DeCaro to Guzman. Barely got a piece of it to Guzman. Sends the mid-90s fastball foul. It remains 0-2 to the Arizona catcher.
Carolina with a 2-strike situation has now brought the middle infield to traditional double play depth and returns the second baseman Vanderbrake to the first base side of the second base bag.
DeCaro comes set from the third base side of the rubber. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. Served in the sky to center. Kepley makes the catch. Walton tags from third, and the sac fly puts the Wildcats on the board. 1-0 in the first inning. Guzman the second out of the frame. Mikalakis next up. And Mason White stays put at first.
Well, there's a classic tale in execution right there. Carolina loaded the bases off the 3 walks, couldn't score off of it in the top of the first. Arizona back-to-back hits, including on the second hit from White that saw Walton go first to third. It's taking that extra 90 feet that put Walton in position at third base to score on the sac fly from Guzman. Carolina, though, happy to record the second out. Now DeCaro an out away from getting back to the dugout and limiting the damage to a single run.
Mikalakis from the left side. Looks at a ball down and in 1-0. Let us not forget, Arizona had a 1-0 lead after the top of the first yesterday before falling 18-2. Carolina's got the early lead in the Supers, needing just one more win to get to Omaha. Arizona has its season on the line from here on out in Chapel Hill. The 1-0. Check this swing. Might have been a strike either way. The slider registers. 1-1 to the Arizona third baseman. Mikalakis, a .280 hitter. Only 5 homers this year, 32 driven in. Wildcats play in a giant ballpark back in Tucson. Might be a reason why the homers are so few. The 1-1. Swinging a fly ball into shallow left. French coming in, Gallagher going back. It's the left fielder calling off the third baseman, making the catch just inside the line in fair territory. And the inning is over. Arizona gets 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. White left stranded at first. We go to the second. Wildcats first on the board, leading Carolina 1-0 through an inning of play. This is Carolina Baseball from Learfield.
At Reed's Jewelers, we know that the rules of engagement were made to be broken. So don't settle for the first ring you see in the case. When you put a ring on it, make the moment your own with something that's just as unique as your love. Whether you're going big, keeping it subtle, or finding a happy medium, we're here to help you say I do with a one-of-a-kind design. Because doing things your way is what makes them mean everything. Reed's Jewelers, an official partner of Tar Heel Sports. Visit your local Reed's Jewelers in-store or online at reeds.com to chat with an expert.
Quality, affordable, dependable. The characteristics that have built the foundation for B&T Heating and Air Conditioning since opening its doors in 1988. B&T Heating and Air Conditioning is proud to serve communities across the Raleigh-Durham area from right here in Chapel Hill to anywhere in between. To schedule your heating, whole house generator, or electrical service or tune-up, visit their website at bntheatingandair.com. B&T Heating and Air Conditioning, generators and electrical. Family owned and doing it right the first time, every time.
Carolina home runs are presented by Lowe's Foods, supporting home plate since 1954. Visit your local Lowe's Foods to find a different type of grocery store worthy of their Carolina roots. Heading into the top half of the second from Chapel Hill, Arizona leads Carolina by a score of 1-0. The Tar Heels have the bottom third of the order due up. Tyson Bass, Sam Angelo, and Carter French. And Matt, just a quick note about those home runs brought to you by Lowe's Foods. The Tar Heels hit three-run homers yesterday. Kane Kepley tacked on a late solo shot in the 8th. The Tar Heels went to work yesterday with the long ball with ducks on a pond.
In Arizona, again, it's more due to their ballpark than anything, but one of the best teams in the nation in limiting home runs. They had given up just 34 all season. Carolina hit 4 of them yesterday. Big reason why the Tar Heels blew out the Wildcats. Carolina had responses to Arizona's offense yesterday, scoring in the bottom half of the inning after Arizona runs. They'll try and duplicate that here, playing as the visiting team in the second.
Garazar's first pitch of the inning to the righty Bass sails high. 1-0 to the Carolina right fielder. Bass's average has been lingering around 300 for most of the second half of the season. It's 296 currently. He's hit 10 homers and driven in 44. Second pitch runs inside. 2-0. And that word response, I think it was something that Adam Lucas used in another perfect piece that he penned yesterday for GoHeels.com. Every time Arizona scored or threatened to do something, the Tar Heels had a big response. The 2-0, Bass responds to that with a line drive foul over the top of the bullpen left side. 2-1. That cracked off the bat as Bass tries to send an early message to Garazar, who was fortunate to get out of the first after walking 3 Tar Heels, but he kept Carolina off the board. The 2-1. Fools him with an off-speed pitch. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the first-year Tar Heel Tyson Bass.
That 2-0 pitch was the one to hit. He got a cutter that got some zone, but Bass early on it yanked it foul, and now counts even 2-2.
Garazar kicks and fires. And he hit Bass on the right hand. That's a fastball running across to the right-handed batter's box. Bass tries to shake off the after effects as he gives a thumbs up to Coach Forbes coming down from the third baseline and heads down to first, the recipient of an HBP. 5th time Bass has been hit this year. Garazar, meanwhile, hits his 9th. And for the second consecutive inning, Carolina's got a leadoff man aboard without the benefit of a base hit. The Tar Heels have had 5 runners reach. Still no hits as Arizona leads 1-0 in the top of the second.
Well, Garazar has not shown the ability to throw strikes consistently, so Carolina patiently waiting.
Angelo from the left side. He patiently waits for this first pitch. Downstairs, puts up the stop sign to Bass over at first. 1-0 to Angelo. He has come alive in the postseason. He was on the all-regional team, going 5 for 13 with a couple of home runs. Yesterday, bombed another home run out of here. The 1-0. Swings. He may have another. That ball is deep. It is carrying over the right center field wall and slamming Sammy. He does it again. Angelo had 2 home runs all regular season. He's got 4 in the postseason, 6 on the year, and Carolina's taken the advantage 2-1. And the top half of the second, thanks to our friends at Lowe's Foods, supporting home plate since 1954. Angelo rocks a shot over the right center field wall with Bass aboard. 2-1 Diamond Heels. Garazar back to work. It's Carter French to take a swing and a miss from the left side, and that's an 0-1 start to French's day at the plate. Matt, we said it between innings. For this fan base to get into it early and often feels like something that has to happen for the Tar Heels. As French, he grounds off the right side of the mound, past the shortstop, playing right at second base and into right center field. The doctor at the office on a Saturday, and he's at first base with a single.
Well, here's your response that we talked about. Garazar unable to throw strikes. And Angelo, who is putting together fantastic at-bats against right-handed pitching, is going to play a role in chasing Garazar from this game.
Wow.
Chip Hale over the line at first.
Garazar gets through the order one time. 7 different Tar Heels reach. It was 3 walks and a fielder's choice in the first, a hit batter, a homer, and a single in the second, and that is it for Garazar. Gone after just an inning, and the Wildcats go into the pen and go to number 99, Garrett Hicks, that 6'1 junior righty we told you about earlier, from out of Buckeye, Arizona, by way of Pima Community College.
Hicks makes his team-leading 32nd appearance out of the Arizona bullpen. He is 5-0 this year with a 5.49 ERA, a couple of saves as well. 41 innings over his 31 appearances, so he is a durable pitcher who can give you multiple innings. That's what Arizona is going to need here today. 43 hits, 25 runs allowed, 25 of them earned, just 9 walks to 46 strikeouts. Opponents bat .269 against the right-hander Garrett Hicks, who comes in relief of Garazar. An inning, 2 hits. Book is still open on him because of the base runner at first, French. 3 walks, and because baseball is a funny game, 1 strikeout, and it was Gavin Gallagher.
Wow. 2-1, Carolina leads Arizona in the second. Carter French at first with nobody out, and as the Tar Heels season has expanded into the postseason, the Tar Heel Sports Network's coverage has expanded to not just WBAG AM 1150, but FM 105.9 also on board for today's game. Thanks to our friends in Alamance County for making Carolina baseball a part of your afternoon. Carolina 2, Arizona 1 in the second. Kane Kepley next up to the plate for Carolina. He took a walk and stole a base back in the first. Partner, you knew this was going to be a battle. Arizona's won 42 games this year. It's a program that's been to Omaha 18 times, playing for its life today after being embarrassed on Friday 18-2. Carolina up a run, but the Wildcats still fighting. Here's the Lion King.
And the thing that stuck out to me when studying Arizona, Dave, is the fact that in the back half of Big 12 play, 3 times they lost game 1 but still won a weekend series.
Hicks' first pitch settles over the inside corner, knee-high to Kepley. 0-1 to the Tar Heel lefty. Kepley was 3 for 5 yesterday, a double shy of the cycle with 4 runs scored. The 0-1. French takes off, hit and run on. Lazy liner to left. It's caught by Breyfogle. And French is over at second base. He's thrown out at first. He might have been the last guy out there to understand that ball was caught, and Arizona gets a gift of a double play. Breyfogle caught it on the fly, through to second where French was, and the throw down to first doubles him off the bag. Not exactly the way that you'd like to execute the hit and run. There's 2 quick outs.
Yeah, that was weird. French went to second, and when that ball got hung up in the air and the catch was made in left field by Breyfogle, French showed no urgency to get back to first.
Hicks uncorks a fastball low to the righty Vanderbrake, who's out in front 1-0. 2-1 Diamond Heels in the second. Base is clear. 2 away, in our first eye engagement violation of the afternoon between the pitcher Garrett Hicks, fresh out of the pen, and Jackson Vanderbrake at the plate for the second time after taking a walk back in the first inning. Hicks 1-0. Flails outside of the righty 2-0. For a second there, partner, I thought I might have been the last person on earth to understand that Kepley reached on a base hit for as little as French did to get back over to first base on the flyout. The 2-0 lands low, and that makes it 3-0. I've seen a lot of baseball this year. I got a pretty good idea about how the game is played.
I thought that same thing to myself. I was like, okay, French is not hustling back to first. What am I missing here? That ball was caught in left field. You got to get back.
The 3-0 to Vanderbrake. Runs right over the heart of the plate for a called strike. Make it 3-1 to the Tar Heels second baseman. 2-1 Heels. Sam Angelo hit a 2-run homer to give Carolina the advantage. 2 down, base is clear. Next pitch. Low and away, and Vanderbrake takes another walk. His 5th of the Super Regionals. And that puts Luke Stevenson at the plate. This was a situation that the Wildcats would have rather avoided. Stevenson at the plate with a runner on base. 2-1 Tar Heels in the second.
As you know that if you make a mistake to Luke Stevenson, it could clear the right field fence, as that ball did yesterday.
Initial offering from the righty to the lefty. Looked like he tried to go to a breaking ball, came out of his right hand awkwardly and stayed upstairs. 1-0 to Carolina's catcher, who hit into a 4-6 fielder's choice last inning. Vanderbrake leads off with first. Splain holds him. Throw over. Vandy dives back in head first. He's safe.
But here's where, if you're Carolina and you have Stevenson and Gallagher capable of doing the damage they can do, you will take every single Vanderbrake walk you can get. Vanderbrake being patient in the 2 spot in the order creates traffic on the bases, takes away the pitcher's attention perhaps from the batter at the plate, and Stevenson is a guy that you can't make a mistake to. And Gavin Gallagher on deck is one of the hottest hitters on the planet.
That's now 3 consecutive throws over to first base by Hicks to keep Vanderbrake honest. Carolina's second baseman 4 for 4 in the steals department this year. Hicks keeping a close eye on him as he angles to the plate. The 1-0 low. 2-0 to Stevenson. With the heels up a run, 2-1 in the second. Bass hit by a pitch to begin the inning. Angelo cranked a home run over the wall in right center. French then singled before Arizona went into the bullpen. Kepley flied into a double play before Vanderbrake walked. Stevenson takes a swing and a miss. And it's 2 balls and a strike to the Tar Heel sophomore. A Let's Go Heels chant makes its way around the ballpark with the 2-1 on the way from the righty to the lefty. Vanderbrake speeds towards second. Pitch floated foul, and it's 2-2 to Stevenson.
And him fooled on the changeup at 86. Now we'll see if Hicks goes back to it in a 2-2 count. He's got some room to maneuver here.
Carolina's been aggressive on the base paths early, too, have they not?
They absolutely have. We saw King Kepley swipe a bag in the first. Hit and run was on for Carter French.
2-2 to Stevenson. Got him looking. Strike 3 with the fastball, landing knee-high. And that's the inning as Hicks gets his mates off the field. The Tar Heels get 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors. And 1 left stranded. The Wildcats back to the plate in the bottom half of the second. Carolina has claimed its first lead. 2-1 our score from Learfield.
Buzzed when you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcast rights granted by the University of North Carolina. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of North Carolina and Learfield.
If you're looking to refresh your Carolina gear, I've got just the place for you. It's the new Tar Heel Team Store located at 120 East Franklin Street. Mention the code Carolina Baseball and receive 10% off your purchase. Exclusions apply. Carolina holds a 2-1 lead on Arizona heading into the Wildcats half of the second. Caulfield, Kane, and Splain, the 6, 7, and 8 spots, due up for Coach Hale's bunch from Tucson. Jason DeCaro on the bump for the second time in his career in a super. He went 6 1/3 last year against West Virginia, allowed just 2 hits against the Mountaineers, 1 run, and what was a 2-1 series-clinching game. First pitch to Caulfield. Fastball a little high, and it's 1-0 to the righty. Caulfield's average sits at just .259. 7 homers, 42 ribbies. The 1-0. Breaking ball inside. 2-0. Stevenson did everything he could to bring that ball back across the inner half, but to no avail.
If you like pitch framing, this is the Super Regional for you because Stevenson and Guzman are two of the best in all of college baseball at framing pitches.
The 2-0 fastball high, 3-0 to Caulfield. Caulfield 1 for 3 with one of those 2 runs scored yesterday by Arizona, and what was it, 18-2 Carolina romp. DeCaro's 3-0. Fastball knee high down the middle. That's a strike, and it's 3-1 to the Wildcats' second baseman, leading off the bottom of the second with the Heels up a score 2-1. DeCaro's next offering to the righty. Hit in the air the other way towards right. Bass coming in hard. Bass dives, and he can't get there. Kepley gets the ball rolling towards the infield, and it's just a leadoff single for Caulfield as Bass sold out to try to make that play. Wildcats get the leadoff man aboard in the bottom of 2.
More shift beating, this time from Arizona, as Caulfield is able to go the opposite way on a low liner, long run in from Bass. And he was able to dive for that because he had Kepley behind him to back it up there if Bass was unable to make the catch. And you're still able to hold Caulfield to a single.
That brings the DH Kane to the plate with nobody out and 1 on in the second. Wildcats down a run. DeCaro deals, gets a swing and a miss. And it's 0-1. That 4-pitch mix of DeCaro, the fastball, the slider, the changeup, and the curve, all those pitches play. And to have just turned 19 and have full command, it's a young man operating well beyond his years. The 0-1. Fastball under the arms of Kane. 1-1. For those that have followed Carolina baseball throughout the year, you know that this is the second consecutive season DeCaro's been the youngest guy on the team.
Graduated high school a year early, enrolled, and began his career at age 17 last year.
The 1-1. Ground ball past second. That shoots into right field. Arizona consecutive singles to begin the second. Caulfield advances to second base. Kane behind him at first. And Splain to the plate. That's already 4 base hits for the Wildcats, who trailed 2-1. But Arizona piled up a bunch of baggage yesterday in the base hit department, but fell 18-2. Jake Knapp gave up a career-high 9 hits yesterday. I want to say all but 1 was a single. Make that all but 2. He pitched around a ton of traffic, got his 14th win of the season, ties the all-time single-season mark in Carolina history that stood for nearly a half-century. Here's Splain from the right side with 2 aboard. Nobody out in the second. Wildcats threatening, puts a bunt down left side of the mound. DeCaro gets to it, ball rolls into his glove, takes the easy play to first, and throws out Splain, who puts down the expert sacrifice bunt, moves Caulfield to third and Kane to second. The Wildcats have 2 in scoring position with 1 down, and the 9-hole hitter, Easton Breifogel, due up next.
A lot of faith in Breifogel here. He was a sub-250 hitter. 2 in scoring position, 1 out. Obviously the double play, at least in the traditional sense, not in order with first base open. But here's Arizona again in the second inning. Chance to answer Carolina just like yesterday.
Breifogel's average at 247, 5 homers, 30 RBIs. Gallagher plays in on the grass at third with the first pitch. Dumped foul towards the Arizona dugout behind the first baseline. 0-1 the count to Breifogel. He's got to feel like a fish out of water. Grew up in Minnesota, just outside of Minneapolis, in what's called the center of the U.S. ice hockey universe. Ice is not going to be your partner here today. It's going to melt quick, with temps expected to get into the mid-80s as Breifogel lashes another foul ball off to the left, and it's quickly 0-2 to the kid from the Midwest.
Both Breifogel and Michalakis in the Arizona starting lineup come in from their native Minnesota to Tucson to play college ball.
DeCaro comes set, working from out of the stretch with 2 on. The 0-2. High and away from the lefty. Fastball couldn't connect, and it's 1-2 to the left fielder. Arizona's gone to all parts of the map to assemble this roster. As Matt said, 2 kids from Minnesota, Walton from Tennessee, Guzman, a New Yorker, Summerhill from Illinois, Splain from California, as is Caulfield. As ball 2 misses high to make it 2-2 to Breyfogle. Only Kane and White, Arizona kids, and both of them grew up in or in the Tucson area. 2-1 Heels in the second. 1 down, 2 in scoring position for the Wildcats. DeCaro sends the 2-2 outside. Tried to break off the curveball. That's his patented move with 2 strikes, but he couldn't land it. It's outside, and the count is full.
I think that's the first time today we've seen him try and snap that curveball off.
A walk loads the bases for Summerhill. The payoff pitch. Slow bouncer to first base. Stokely gets to it in fair territory. Jogs over to the bag, 3 unassisted. Breyfogle retired, but Caulfield in to score from third. And the score is tied at 2. Kane heads down to third. And the lineup flips over to Summerhill. Arizona has proved proficient in manufacturing runs.
4 singles over the course of the game, but Wildcats use the small ball to bunt the 2 runners into scoring position, and that allows the rollover ground out to first to get a run in, and still a runner, the go-ahead run at third, now with 2 out, and Summerhill at the plate.
Gallagher stays in at third. First pitch outside to the lefty, Summerhill. A ball and no strikes, the right fielder who's 0 for 1. He grounded out to Madera in the first, we're in the second. Score tied at 2. The Wildcats have scored a run in both innings. The Tar Heels got a 2-run homer from Sam Angelo in the top of the inning. The 1-0 from DeCaro. Line to left center. Carter French has a read on it, has a beat on it, and he's got that ball in his glove for out number 3. Arizona gets 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. Kane left stranded at third base. We've played 2 from Chapel Hill. Our score is tied at 2. On our way to the third, it's the 4, 5, and 6 hitters do it for the Tar Heels. Gallagher, Stokely, and Madera. It's Tar Heel baseball from Learfield.
Touchdown! On game day, there's nothing like tailgating, touchdowns, and Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea goes down smooth and tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
If you're worried about your rights after suffering an injury, getting peace of mind is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Pick up your phone and dial 919 all fours, or go to lawyernc.com. We'll listen to your story and answer all of your questions during a stress-free discussion of your rights. Finally, if we feel like we can help, we'll offer you representation, and the best thing, it costs you absolutely nothing to learn more. We're ready for your call.
Hardison and Cochran, North Carolina personal injury attorneys, 919 all fours. Carolina Baseball is presented all season long by Hardison and Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison and Cochran, 919 all fours.
Game 2 of the Super Regionals in Chapel Hill, Carolina and Arizona. Tied at 2 on our way to the third. Gallagher, Stokely, and Madera to get their first look at Garrett Hicks, who came on in relief of Raul Garrazar, who lasted just an inning. Wildcats already into their pen. Jason DeCaro has allowed 4 singles and 2 runs through 2 frames. Gallagher 0 for 1 of the strikeout. Doesn't feel natural to say that given the tear he's been on in the last week and change, but here we are. Hicks' first pitch. Gallagher drubs a bouncing ball into the right arm of Coach Forbes. 0-1 of the sophomore Tar Heel from out of Apex. The peak of good living, Matt. Nobody knows that better than you.
That is true. And our old friend Kyle Stroud, too.
The 0-1. Gallagher makes contact, but flares a fly ball into shallow right. Summerhill calls off the second baseman Caulfield and makes a jogging catch for the first out of the inning. Stokely next up in a 2-2 game. We're in the third, and we're right up against the top of the hour, so let's keep things street legal and pause 10 seconds for a station ID on the Tar Heel Sports Network. 2-2. We're in the third. Heels and Wildcats tied up. One down, bases clear, and the first pitch to Hunter Stokely. Drifts outside of the lefty, and it's 1-0. Stokely walked in the first. He awaits the 1-0 pitch in the third and takes a ball low, 2-0. Matt, people have asked me why the term street legal before those station IDs. It's a tip of the cap to our old buddy Frank Ricard in Old School, working on the old Red Dragon. The 2-0. Downstairs, 3-0. I think he said he removed the restrictor plate, so it wasn't exactly street legal.
Talking cars, right?
I think so.
Okay.
The 3-0. Outside, ball 4, and Stokely registers the second walk from Hicks. That's the 5th walk already. The Tar Heels haven't turned any of those free passes into a run, although Bass was aboard with a HBP when Angelo slugged the home run out of here. Scored tied at 2 in the third. And here's Madera. Hard to believe a movie like Old School's been giving me belly laughs for better than 2 decades, Krause. First pitch to Madera is a strike at the knees, 0-1.
It's a fine work of art.
It's cinematic brilliance at its finest, there's no question. Stokely leads off of first. Splain holds the runner. The 0-1. Down and in. Guzman looks Stokely back over to the bag with no throw. 1-1 to Madera, who's 0-1. He flied out to left to end the first. We're tied at 2 in the third. Stokely aboard. Gallagher flied out to right. The wind has slowed on a steamy day in Chapel Hill. Throw over to first. Stokely dives back in safely. Just scanning the crowd, you can see those makeshift fans being waved back and forth. It gives you a glimpse of how unbearably hot it is outside.
Very heavy air. Anything to create some movement around you.
The 1-1. Another throw over to first base. Stokely, not exactly Lou Brock over there, has stolen 4 bases in 4 tries. Madera, the forgotten man at the plate, stands ready from the left side for the 1-1. It's on the way, and it's driven in the sky down the line and left. Breyfogle got a good jump. He's at the warning surface, and he runs into the wall. The ball's out of play, and Madera heads back to the plate behind in the count 1-2.
Oh, so close for Breyfogle, but he would have had to leap up about 5 feet or so and get on top of the bullpen wall. That's pretty difficult to do, so Madera gets a fresh life here.
Yeah, had he done that, it would have eclipsed either of the catches that Walton had yesterday, robbing Gallagher and Stokely of extra base hits. The 1-2. Swing and a ground ball left side. Nobody home, and that's a worm burner into left field. Stokely goes first to second. Madera singles, and the Tar Heels have 2 on with 1 down, threatening to retake the lead. It's 2-all on the top of the third. 1 down for Tyson Bass, due up next in Coach Forbes' Saturday lineup.
Another shift-beating hit for the Tar Heels. Madera with 2 strikes shortens up, goes the opposite way, and makes Arizona pay for going into the overshift. That ball was on the ground right where a shortstop would normally be.
The shift swings back around to the left side with 2 aboard. First pitch to Bass, a fastball. Caught a piece of the outer half, and it's 0-1 to the righty from Lucama. Small town USA on the eastern part of the state. Population just better than 1,100, but it's a big-time talent here in Chapel Hill. Tyson Bass takes the second pitch from Hicks. It's outside, 1-1 to the Carolina right fielder. Hit by a pitch from Garazar back in the second. We're tied at 2 in the third. The 1-1. An excuse me roller to first base. Splain hoovers it up and wins the race over to the bag as Bass slides over the top of it. 2 outs. Both runners advance. Stokely to third and Madera to second. And here's Sam Angelo, a left-handed hitter at the plate, trying to give Carolina the lead back. We're tied at 2 in the top of the third.
Coach Forbes said prior to the regional that he was really excited about the possibility of Sam Angelo having success against right-handed pitching. Carolina just saw so many left-handers down the stretch in ACC play and in the ACC tournament that Angelo didn't really get many cracks, but now in the postseason, a lot of righties.
Initial offering to Angelo, swung over the top of a slider. The Heels DH behind in the count, 0-1. Gallagher fly to right to begin the inning. Stokely took a walk. Madera singled to left. Bash just grounded to first. 2 on, 2 down, and a tie game. The 0-1 rises high and a good take. 1 ball and 1 strike to another first-year Tar Heel who was playing D3 baseball about this time last year. He's on the main stage today in Game 2 of the Supers. Heels already took Game 1 yesterday, winning 18-2. The 1-1. Breaking ball. That's high, and it's 2-1. Angelo had a huge power surge his final 2 years at Montclair State with 35 total homers after just 4 in the previous 2 seasons. The 2-1, there's a hot shot on the ground. The first baseman, Splain, dives, gets to it, underhands to Hicks, covering first base. Arizona executes the play, and Carolina can't push across a run. Bad break for Angelo, and how about Splain helping on those last 2 outs to keep Stokely and Madera from scoring. It is still a 2-2 game heading into the middle of the 3rd inning.
Well, these are 2 of the best fielding teams in the nation, both fielding .977 into play today. That's top 35 in the country, and Arizona showing off their slick fielding on a couple of hot shot ground balls to first.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. The Tar Heels have stranded 6 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Walton, White, and Guzman, the 2, 3, and 4 spots do it for the Wildcats. Our score is tied at 2 from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son Ricky took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Carolina Baseball Grounds Crew is presented by Brown Brothers Plumbing and Heating, serving the community since 1933. Our family is here to keep your family comfortable. Count on the team that the Tar Heels trust with Brown Brothers Plumbing and Heating. Arizona at the plate in the bottom of the 3rd. Our score is tied at 2. Jason DeCaro remains on the mound for the Diamond Heels. Aaron Walton at the plate for the Wildcats. And the righty puts down a bunt third base side. Gallagher charges in. The ball skips over his glove on the grass. And he's safe at first without a throw. Likely goes down as an infield single for Walton, who singled and scored back in the 1st, aboard to lead off the 3rd. And that's the 2nd consecutive time, Matt, the leadoff runner is reached for the Arizona Wildcats.
Well, Walton is proficient at pulling the ball sharply down the left field line, so Gallagher was back and hugging the line, and Walton saw that, dropped down a perfect bunt, utilized his speed that we've seen on display in the outfield defensively to reach first. And Arizona with more traffic on the bases against DeCaro.
White at the plate, 1 for 1 with a base hit. Lefty drives the first pitch high in the sky, left side. French out in the sunlight, reaches up. Gravity does its thing. It always does. And there's the first out in the 3rd. 1 pitch and 1 out to retire White. Walton stays at first base. Here comes the cleanup hitter Guzman in a 2-2 game. And that bunt for Walton does go down as an infield single.
Even though there was a little bit of a bobble from Gallagher, he had to charge in really hard, really quickly. That is not an error situation.
Guzman had a sac fly that scored Walton 2 innings ago. We're tied at 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. 1 out, 1 on for Arizona. DeCaro in the stretch. Deals a first pitch strike down the middle. 0-1 to the backstop. Guzman, once upon a time ago, played in the ACC at Boston College. Started 19 games for the Eagles in 2023, hit .239 with 7 RBIs. The 0-1. Pelted foul up against the net right side. It's 0-2, and in that stretch of time in Chestnut Hill, he faced Carolina just once on the 23rd of April in 2023. Went 1 for 5 with an RBI against the Diamond Heels. 2 years later, he faces Carolina again. It's a must-win game for Arizona. A win today for the Heels punches the ticket to Omaha. The 0-2 and an all-righty showdown. DeCaro sends it high and away, taken for a ball, 1-2. Walton resides over at first. White flying out to left, the only out in the inning. Wind is picked up, shuffling the flags to left with the lights on here at Boshamer Stadium. The 1-2. And on the hands, little Texas leaguer heading towards right field. Vanderbreek's back there, makes an over-the-shoulder the catch, just like he used to on the gridiron back in his high school days in Yakima, Washington. Vanderbreek records the pop-out. Guzman set down. Here comes Michalakis with 2 out and a runner at first in the third. Our score still reads Carolina 2 and Arizona 2.
The rare soft contact off the bat of Guzman. And after giving up the bunt single, DeCaro has responded with a 1-pitch out, fly out to left off the bat of White, and retires Guzman, who had been Arizona's most consistent hitter of the weekend.
Michalakis, a lefty, sees DeCaro throw over to first base. Walton is back in plenty of time. He's Arizona's top base stealer, 18 out of 22 on the season. Michalakis 0 for 1 on the fly out to left. Is this the pitch he's been waiting for? Throw back over to first. Stokely dug it out of the dirt, and Walton still plenty safe. When those flags are flying, it's got to feel good for the fans outside. When the wind stops, you could cut this heat with a knife. Here's an offering to the hitter. And another swing on a first pitch. High fly ball to medium range left field. French extends his arms, reaches up with the glove, and makes the catch. Pretty efficient inning for Carolina, Matt, after the leadoff single by Walton.
Good job by DeCaro, induces 3 fly balls and holds that runner at first base, putting the first 0 of the game up on the board for the Wildcats.
We've played 3 innings from Boshamer Stadium. The Tar Heels bring French, Capley, and Vanderbreek the 9, 1, and 2 spots at the plate in the top of the 4th. Our score remains 2-2 between the Diamond Heels and Wildcats from Learfield.
Need to refresh your UNC gear? Visit the new off-campus Tar Heel Team Store located at 120 East Franklin Street in the heart of Chapel Hill. Open Tuesday through Sunday, we offer an enhanced in-person shopping experience and carry the latest designs from Nike, Jordan, Peter Millar, and more. Stop by for an official Nike replica jersey with your favorite Tar Heels name and number. The Tar Heel Team Store is your one-stop shop for all things UNC. Mention code Carolina Baseball and receive 10% off your purchase. Exclusions apply.
When you're getting ready for the big game, make sure you have plenty of Hampton Farms peanuts on hand. Hampton Farms is based in North Carolina, just like the Tar Heels, and they specialize in producing only the highest quality, fresh roasted, in-the-shell peanuts and snacks. In addition, peanuts are one of the healthiest snacks around. They are naturally low in carbs and high in protein. So before the next game, head to your favorite store's produce department and grab a bag of Hampton Farms in-the-shell peanuts, the official peanuts of the Tar Heels.
Heading into the 4th, score tied at 2. It's Carolina and it's Arizona. And this inning, as always, presented by Hardison and Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison and Cochran at 919-ALL-4s. Matt, yesterday, the Heels and Wildcats were the first game of the day. Today, there's a ton of action. Might not be first on the diamond, but we're still early. What's happening elsewhere?
Bottom of the 5th in Louisville, Game 2 of the Louisville Super Regional. Cardinals won Game 1 yesterday, 8-1. It is now 5-4 Miami. Bottom of the 5th. The Hurricanes need to win today and tomorrow to advance to Omaha.
Hicks' first pitch to French. Knocked back to the mound on the ground on a check swing. It's scooped up by the pitcher and run over to first base on the underhand toss. French retired for the first out of the 4th.
So we know the ACC is guaranteed to have one spot in Omaha based upon the winner of Louisville and Miami. Duke and Murray State's underway. Murray State, the surprising winner of the Oxford Regional. Duke was the 2 seed in Athens, so the Blue Devils hosting postseason baseball for the first time in the history of their program. They are underway, scoreless, top of the first. Also worth noting, Florida State squandered a 3-run lead in the 9th last night. They play for their season tonight at 9 against Oregon State.
Kepley at the plate from the left side takes the first offering from Hicks low, 1-0. Kepley was the first to face Hicks back in the second when he came in for Garazar. The Arizona starter lasted just an inning. We're in the fourth, tied at 2. The second pitch, Kepley laces that to left field, and it falls in front of Breyfogle. Kepley aboard for the second time with his first base hit, and that is trouble for the Wildcats. One of the best speedsters in all the land aboard with 1 down, and Jackson Vanderbrake to hit next for Carolina.
Stayed back on the off-speed at 86 and a weak poke to left field. Kepley gets aboard and a chance to turn him loose to get him to scoring position with a dangerous part of the lineup coming up, beginning with Vanderbrake.
Kepley 44 for 48 in steals. Hicks has got the memo. He throws over, and Kepley is back in time. Vanderbrake has taken 2 walks today. He's been issued 5 walks in the series. He's reached all but once as Kepley goes from first, steaming towards second. The throw is good. It's on line, but it's not in time. And there is stolen base number 45 for Kane Kepley. That ties him with Russ Adams for 3rd all-time on the single-season charts. Adams stole his 45 back in 2002. Kepley has 45 in 2025. And the Heels with a runner in scoring position, 1 down. The 0-1 pitch to Vanderbrake misses high, 1-1 to the Heels' second baseman. At this stage, it almost feels automatic that if Kepley reaches, he's going somewhere. He's got a good lead off a second, covered in dirt from head to toe. The 1-1 skips away. Guzman looks Kepley back over to second, no throw. 2-1 the count to Vanderbrake with our score tied at 2 in the fourth. 1 down, and Kepley in scoring position as the sun, the wind, the clouds, all these natural elements waging battle with one another just outside of us here in Chapel Hill as Vanderbrake takes another ball inside 3-1.
So weather report from Dave Nathan. Traffic next.
Yes, traffic and weather together on the 4s. Just like the pros, I'll get half of it right half the time. Hicks looks over to second, deals to the plate. Vanderbrake pounds the 3-1 pitch into the dirt behind the batter's box. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the third-year Tar Heel, who is third-team All-ACC this year. Also made the All-ACC tournament team. He tries to will his team back to Omaha for a second consecutive season. The payoff pitch, and Vanderbrake looks at ball 4. It was outside. Guzman did his best to frame it. Second consecutive game where Vanderbrake has taken 3 consecutive walks. And those chants you hear, they're not boos. They're chants of Luke Stevenson to the dish with 2 on and 1 down. Score tied at 2 in the top of the fourth. The Tar Heels try to reclaim the advantage.
And Arizona has their bullpen up and going once more. This is the right-hander out there, Casey Hintz, one of their higher leverage relievers.
The Heels took just 5 walks yesterday. They've taken 6 today. The first pitch to Stevenson. A big breaker that stays upstairs. A 1-0 count to the Carolina left-handed hitter. Hit into a fielder's choice in the first. Struck out looking to end the second. We are tied at 2 in the fourth. Kepley at second. Vanderbrake at first. 1 down as Hicks comes set. Checks to second. Delivers to the plate. A breaking ball this time finds the zone. Taken by Stevenson. It's a 1-1 count to the Carolina catcher.
That is the first one of those big breaking balls from Hicks that is actually dropped into the zone. He has missed up constantly on that pitch until right there.
The 1-1, Stevenson wraps a base hit past first base and rolling into right field. Kepley speeds around and scores. Stevenson digging for second. He's got an RBI double, and Carolina's got the lead back. 3-2 Diamond Heels in the fourth. Luke Stevenson, he delivers.
And Stevenson will chase the pitcher Hicks from this game. Here comes Chip Hale once again across the first base line. Arizona will summon the bullpen with 2 in scoring position and only 1 out here in the 4th. Tar Heels had been consistently hitting balls sharply on the ground to the right side of the infield. Arizona had made some really good defensive plays the last couple of innings. That one, Splain had no chance to get to. Rocketed by the first baseman, and the Tar Heels regained the lead.
Coach Hale made the move before he even crossed over the first base line. Hicks' afternoon is over after 2 1/3. And Casey Hintz, our newest contestant from Lakewood, Illinois, on Bryson Field in Chapel Hill to try to see the Wildcats through the middle innings. Carolina's got its second advantage. 3-2 our score. Nobody's led this one, Matt, by more than a run. You knew this one was going to be blood and guts. Dig down deep to find your best baseball. And at this point in the game, Carolina just a little bit better than Arizona. 3-2 Diamond Heels in the top of the 4th.
And now Arizona brings Hintz into the game. It's his 22nd appearance of the year. 7-4 record. A lot of decisions for a relief pitcher who has made every single one of his appearances out of the bullpen. 5.29 ERA for Hintz. Couple of saves. 49 1/3 innings of work. 48 hits, 29 runs, all of them earned, 18 walks to 51 strikeouts. Opponents hit .259 against Hintz, who I wouldn't necessarily call a sidearmer. He's more a three-quarter delivery guy. He takes the ball in his right hand and slings it behind his back and flings it forward plateward. And that makes it hard to pick up, especially if you are a right-handed batter, as Gavin Gallagher is. And Carolina's red-hot bat, who is 0 for 2 today, now has a chance to put a crooked number on the board here in the 4th as the first batter to face the difficult right-hander Hintz.
This is one of the things that Coach Forbes talked about on Thursday before this series lifted off, and one of the most difficult things to combat facing Arizona is that the Wildcats will give you a ton of different looks on the mound. No 2 guys look or throw alike, and for Hicks to go 2 1/3, the Tar Heels eventually got to him with the last 3 reaching. It's a brand new look with Hintz on the mound to face off against Gavin Gallagher, who all of a sudden looks like a regular baseball player instead of Babe Ruth. He's 0 for 2 today.
A swinging strikeout and a flyout to right for Gallagher. But a righty-righty matchup against a difficult righty. 2 in scoring position, 1 out. And this is one of those moments. It may, quote-unquote, only be the 4th inning. But it feels like what happens the rest of this frame is going to go a long way toward deciding this game.
Hintz comes set. Sidearms the first pitch. That is hit on the ground sharply to second base. Caulfield gets to it with the backhand. Collects and throws to first to get the out, but it scores Vanderbrake. And Gallagher drives in a run to make it 4-2 in favor of Carolina. Ball shot off the bat. Tough break for Carolina, almost right to Caulfield, playing a mean second base. Stevenson goes to third, and now Stokely at the plate. Outside of Gallagher, maybe Carolina's best 2-out hitter. Stokely has reached in 24 consecutive games, and he's got 24 2-out RBIs. First pitch, the lefty. Sails the first pitch foul down the line and left and out of play. It's 0-1 to the Big Cat.
Stokely is yet to strike out in this Super Regional. He has cut down on his strikeouts of late, coaxing a couple of walks today.
Hintz is 0-1. Gets a swing and a miss from Stokely, 0-2. 2 down in the top of the 4th. The Tar Heels lead the Wildcats 4-2. Stevenson, the only base runner at third. Next pitch, Stokely, line drive to short, and that floats into the glove of Mason White for the final out of the inning. But 3 consecutive Tar Heels reach. Kepley singles, Vanderbrake walks, and Stevenson doubles. Carolina gets 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left stranded. The Tar Heels have left 7 on base as we go to the home half of the 4th. Arizona back to the dish with the Tar Heels out in front of the Wildcats, 4-2 from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This afternoon's broadcast is presented by Allen Tate Realtors. Whether you're buying, selling, or staying in your current home, Allen Tate can help. Get a home physical scheduled today. Allen Tate Realtors is the #1 real estate company in the Carolinas and a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Dave Nathan and Matt Krause, proud broadcasters of Carolina baseball. As we head to the bottom half of the fourth, Carolina leads Arizona 4-2. I don't think I can bring myself to say the home half of the fourth with Arizona hitting in this frame. The bottom half just feels right with the Tar Heels, the visiting team, on their own field. It's Garrett Caulfield to lead things off. DeCaro's first pitch rolls over the inside corner to the righty, and it's quickly 0-1 to Caulfield.
Now, the good news is that if a Game 3 is necessary tomorrow, Carolina would be the home team guaranteed.
The 0-1. Caulfield looks at strike two. 0-2 to the Sacramento, California native. 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. Heels up 4-2 in the fourth. The pitch. Look out. Fastball ran right across his face. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Caulfield. Had a 15-game hitting streak back in March, but since then his average has dropped 50 points. The 1-2. Reaches out, pokes a fly ball to shallow right field. Now in foul territory, it's the first baseman, Hunter Stokely, reaching up to squeeze the first out of the inning. The Heels infield whips it around the horn. DeCaro eventually gets the ball back, and Andrew Kane next to hit, batting 7th as the DH for the Wildcats. He too has singled and was left stranded at third base 2 innings ago. We play on in the fourth. Carolina 4, Arizona 2. That's our score. DeCaro with the glove in front of his face, kicks and fires. Fastball low to the lefty. 1-0. Kane yesterday 1 for 3. Carolina won on Friday 18-2. The 1-0. Ground ball bounces to Stokely, tells DeCaro to stay put. He takes it 3 unassisted. And it's 2 away. 5 in a row set down by DeCaro.
All of a sudden, DeCaro settling in after among the first 11 batters he faced in this game. He gave up 5 singles, a sac bunt, and a sac fly.
44 pitches for Carolina's starter through 3 2/3. 32 have been for strikes. He's been in the zone time and again. Interesting to say he's not recorded a strikeout yet. First pitch to Splain. The righty takes low, 1-0. He laid down a sac bunt that moved Caulfield and Kane into scoring position. Breyfogle drove in Caulfield with a ground out before Summerhill flied out to end the inning. We're in the fourth, still 4-2 Heels. Second pitch runs outside, and it's 2-0 to the first baseman.
In fact, you gave it. It shows the approach of these two teams. DeCaro's throwing a bunch of strikes. Arizona's hunting them, and sometimes they'll make contact, but nothing for extra bases.
DeCaro's 2-0 to Splain. Low for ball 3. Missed with the fastball, 3-0. Splain's been hot. wouldn't say he's in Gavin Gallagher territory, but 11 for 24 through his last 6 games coming to the park today with 4 runs scored and 5 RBIs. The 3-0. Fastball letter high on the inside corner. Moves the count to 3-1. He was on the Eugene All-Regional team. Hard to keep a guy off that goes 7 for 12 with a triple and 2 homers. The 3-1. DeCaro gets another strike, and the fastball is moving to all quadrants of the plate. One was over the inside corner. That last pitch was on the outer half, and Splain to see a payoff pitch. With 2 down and the bases clear in the 4th, Heels up by 2 runs. Pitch clock nearing 5 seconds. Here comes the delivery. There's a fly ball deep to left. French looks up, and that ball is sailing gone. Into the netting and out of Boshemer Stadium. Splain with a home run draws Arizona within 1, 4-3.
Well, Splain is hot, as you said, Dave, and he works himself into a full count and gets a pitch to hit. Smashed it over the left field fence. And an Arizona team that hit 15 home runs in the Eugene Regional has their first of the Super.
Splain has 3 homers in his last 4 games and just 5 on the season. The lead trimmed to 4-3. Carolina's still up, and Breyfogle at the plate. He's a lefty. First pitch up and away, 1-0 to Breyfogle, who grounded to Stokely in the 2nd inning, but it drove in a run. 2 down, bases clear in the 4th. DeCaro misfires high, 2-0. It's one of these moments that Coach Gaines probably has his pen out and is evaluating DeCaro based upon how he responds to giving up the home run ball. The 2-0. Fastball finds the zone, taken for a strike, and it's 2-1. Breyfogle yesterday 1 for 2 with an RBI, so he's driven in a pair this weekend. Next pitch. Swinging a line drive, foul by about a foot, maybe less than that past first base. Stokely was running that way, but it was too tall for him to claim it, and it just came down on the right side of the line to make it a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Arizona has scored in 3 of the first 4 innings. The Tar Heels have put up a 2 spot in the 2nd and a 2 spot in the 4th and lead 4-3. Here's the 2-2 from the righty to the lefty. And DeCaro got a foul tip. Stevenson couldn't squeeze it. It remains 2-2 and still no strikeouts for the Carolina hurler, who'd K'd an even 70 entering play today. Struck out a career-best 8 in his last outing against Oklahoma. The 2-2. Popped up and foul left side. Breyfogle stays at the plate. How about that performance against the Sooners, Matt? 6 innings, 7 hits, no walks, and Carolina's 11-5 win that put the Tar Heels at 2-0 in the regional. OU would battle back and force a Game 7. The Tar Heels won it handily. Another 2-2 to the lefty, and Breyfogle foul tips that.
I like to say that the most important game of a regional or that first portion of the College World Series, essentially a 4-team double elimination setup, it's not the first game, it's the 1-0 versus 1-0 game. And DeCaro's effort there put Carolina in the driver's seat.
DeCaro deals to Breyfogle again outside, 3-2. That one wasn't close. And the count is full. So this inning got started off easy enough with Caulfield fouling out to Stokely and Kane grounding to first. Splain hit the homer to left, and Breyfogle awaits the payoff pitch. Missed again, up and away. And that's the first walk of the contest. The inning continues with Summerhill due up. 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out. So in the blink of an eye, I told you DeCaro's pitch count was at 44. Now it's up to 59. And here comes Coach Gaines out of the Tar Heel dugout, walking over the Argyle strip. Now the third baseline. and across the infield grass to meet with Stevenson and DeCaro. There's 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. A runner at first. Our score reads Carolina 4 and Arizona 3.
And Carolina has some light tossing going on down in the bullpen. It is Aiden Houck, who has been the third weekend starter throughout the year. But as Coach Forbes indicated, beyond Knapp and DeCaro, the roles this weekend, especially for Ryan Lynch and Aiden Houck, were much more fluid. McDuffie probably still the closer, but could start if need be. But Houck and Lynch fairly fluid throughout Game 2 and a potential Game 3 is necessary. Obviously, neither were needed yesterday as Tom Shimoleski finished the job after Jake Knapp worked a solid 7.
Coach Gaines disappears back into the dugout, and Summerhill approaches from the left side. 4-3. Carolina up a run in the 4th. Arizona's got a runner at first. There's 2 down. DeCaro, a righty on the mound, stares down Summerhill, a lefty at the plate. The first pitch. Fastball on the inside corner. That's a strike, and it's 0-1. Stokely holds the runner at first. Gallagher's got his toes on the infield grass. Vanderbreak at second to step back on the outfield turf. Madera, regular depth at short. Here's the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The count to Summerhill. It's interesting, Garrett Hicks, the first arm out of the pen, grew up in Buckeye, Arizona. Summerhill's father, Mike, was a Buckeye, played baseball at Ohio State. The 1-1. Turned and bounced past first base. Stokely dove towards it, couldn't get it. It's into right field. Breifogel goes first to third. And Arizona may be in the midst of manufacturing another run. First and third, the last 3 have reached. Still 2 down. And Aaron Walton, who's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, is next up at the dish.
Summerhill has had some consequential plate appearances throughout this weekend, and Carolina had gotten the better of it essentially every time. There was the ground ball double play yesterday, the first pitch out in the first inning today, and then his at-bat with a runner at third and 2 outs in the second where he flew out to left. But Summerhill finally comes through for the Wildcats with a knock, and now Luke Stevenson is going to go out to the mounds. And here in the 4th inning with 2 outs on a hot day in Arizona creating traffic on the bases, and their 2 best hitters in Walton and White due up, have to wonder if perhaps this is the end for Jason DeCaro.
Walton yesterday was 1 for 4 with a run scored and a double. Stole a home run from Stokely in right center field. Stole a double from Gallagher in left center. Exited the game early, though, because of cramps. And as our home plate umpire, Mark Wagers, makes his way onto the bump, he'll reel Stevenson back with him to the plate. Arizona threatening in the bottom of the 4th. The Wildcats trail the Tar Heels 4-3. But a Splain homer, a Breifogel walk, and a Summerhill single have continued things. And, Matt, you're right. This is it for DeCaro as Coach Forbes comes out of the dugout and makes the call for a righty out of the bullpen. Is this what they call a high-leverage situation in the month of June?
It certainly is. Up by a run, and Arizona threatening. DeCaro walks off the mound at Boshamer Stadium for the final time this year to a loud ovation from Tar Heel fans. And now here is a test of the strategy. Aiden Houck out of the Carolina bullpen, which, if the Tar Heels are able to hold this lead, finish the job today, will allow Carolina to utilize all of its best arms over the course of this 2-game set. And if you need tomorrow, then indications seem that Ryan Lynch, who has been fantastic in these winner-take-all games against Clemson and Oklahoma, may get the ball to start things off for the Heels. But a big spot here for Aiden Houck. Houck is a senior out of Zebulon. Fayetteville Tech transfer in his second year at Carolina, had the opportunity to become a Minnesota Twin after last year, picked in the 16th round by the American League Central team, but turned down that opportunity. He came back to Carolina, has been a weekend starter for much of the year, and his season has been divided in essentially 2. Had a 1-hitter on the road against Boston College as part of a fantastic first half in the starter role, but has struggled in a weekend starter role the rest of the way. This is his second appearance out of the bullpen this season. Appearance number 16 on the year. Houck overall 5-4 with a 3.68 ERA, 71 innings, 63 hits, 35 runs, 29 of them earned. Walk number sits at 32, 79 strikeouts. Opponents bat .230 against him. And so here is Houck in a high leverage spot. And something Coach Forbes and any coach will tell you, high leverage spots in the month of June are not just in the late innings.
This call to the bullpen brought to you by your trusted and local home repair company, Triangle Home Repair and Paint. Contact them today and get your honey-do list done now. It's worth noting, Carolina's not lost a game in the postseason where Jason DeCaro has started. 3 career starts in the regionals. This was his second career start in the Supers. He also started last year's first game in the College World Series against Virginia. Houck, on the other hand, was 0-2 last year in the tournament, facing LSU in Game 2 in Tennessee in the College World Series. The Heels this year 8-7 when he appears. And he's the man of the moment here in a 4-3 game. The Tar Heels up a run in the fourth. Arizona's got runners at first and third. Walton at the plate, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles and a run scored. Houck begins from the stretch, first base side of the rubber. And the first pitch tapped to third. Gallagher charging in. Can't get to it with the bare hand, and a run scores. Breyfogle makes it 4-4. Summerhill to second, and Walton's third single drives in a run, never left the infield. And the Wildcats answer the Tar Heels 2 spot on the top of the fourth. And this game is tied. If you're Aiden Houck, you just shake your head. You got what you wanted, a slow roller. Maybe a little too slow.
And yet again, Arizona's ability to go first to third ends up paying off for the Wildcats. Breyfogle went first to third on the Summerhill knock, and that enables him to score easily on the Walton infield hit.
Here's White from the left side, takes a strike. Stevenson's body was positioned almost in the back of the right-handed batter's box, but his glove reached across to backhand it over the plate, and it's 0-1 to White, who's 1 for 2 with a single and a fly out to left. The 0-1. Look like the same spot, but this one's deemed a ball, and it's 1-1. Score tied at 4 in the fourth. Both teams into the pen. Houck on the mound, supplanting DeCaro. As the big righty comes set and heaves the next pitch. Lob foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Arizona shortstop. Mason White, Eugene Regional Most Outstanding Player. Second team All Big 12. And the conference tournament MOP. He's on a heater. The 1-2. Bouncing ball to second. Vanderbrake backhands on the outfield grass. Throws to first. White's retired, and the inning is over. 2 runs come in on 3 hits. No errors. And 2 left stranded. Houck gets a couple of ground balls. 1 scores a run. 1 ends the inning. We played 4 from Chapel Hill, and we're right back to square one. Carolina 4, Arizona 4. The 5th inning is right around the corner from Learfield.
You sit in traffic now, but later, there's an ice cold reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. You've earned this rich golden lager with a crisp, refreshing taste. Because you know, all your patience is paid out in gold. You remain calm through honks, bumper to bumper, and people yelling. Come on, move! You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Playing baseball at the highest level requires excellent physical conditioning, and keeping your home in the best shape requires physical attention too. As a proud partner of Carolina Athletics, Allen Tate Realtors recommends a home physical. We'll determine your home's value, share the latest market trends, and recommend updates to maximize your most important investment. Whether you plan to sell or stay, be sure to cover the bases with a complimentary home physical from Allen Tate. Visit homephysical.com today.
Carolina Baseball is presented all season long by Hardison and Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison and Cochran, 919-ALL-4s.
Modelo is proud to sponsor Carolina Baseball. Modelo, an official beer of your North Carolina Tar Heels. Those Modelos have to taste good on a day like today. It is hot, and it is sticky. And if I know you out there, you love a cold one on a June Saturday. It's a hot one, though. Hotly contested, certainly, between Carolina and Arizona. Game tied at 4. Beginning the 5th, Madera, Bass, and Angelo. The 6, 7, and 8 spots. Due up in Coach Forbes' Saturday lineup. Casey Hintz remains on the mound for the Wildcats. His first pitch, a called strike to the lefty Madera. Slider connects, and it's 0-1 to the heel shortstop. 1 for 2 of the flyout and a single. The second pitch, outside and a good take. 1-1 to Ahmad. Sellout crowd for Carolina baseball. Seats are packed as Madera moved off the plate. 2-1. There was a line stretching almost back to the Rams head deck a couple hours before the gates opened today. Illustrative of the passion for Carolina baseball around these parts. The 2-1. Madera turns and bounces to the right side. First baseman Splain gets to it. Throws over to the pitcher. Hintz covering. And Madera beaten by a step. Grounds out for the first out of the inning.
Standing room only tickets, hard to come by. But those that were here early enough got those precious standing room spots. Others on top of the bleachers over at Karen Shelton Stadium across the way. Some others beyond the fence in right field.
This is why you purchase season tickets, so you have the chance to come to games like this. Bass next up. Looks at a strike at the knees. 0-1 in those season ticket sales. Up 30% year over year. Coach Forbes and his team promised this kind of environment, this kind of atmosphere. Tar Heel fans have promised to show up. And here they are as Bass takes the ball to even the count 1-1 with 1 down and nobody on in the top of the 5th. It's a 4-all game. Casey Hintz, second arm used out of the pen for Arizona. The righty fires, and Bass tattoos a line shot to center field. The ball was tailing back towards center from left center, and Walton played it well, never overran it, stayed with it, and made the catch near the warning track for the second out. If you're Bass, you got all of that. You just hit it right to the center fielder, and that brings up Sam Angelo with our score still tied at 4.
And on the Aaron Walton difficulty scale, that one's minor compared to what we saw yesterday.
Angelo 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer. First pitch, deposited foul at the plate. 0-1 to the Carolina lefty. Infield plays Sam straight up. This is the rare hitter that doesn't see any sort of a shift, especially with nobody on. It's a game that's been defined by traffic. As a strike roams across the extreme outer half, Angelo gives his head kind of a half shake as if to say, are you serious? And it's 0-2. Madera grounded out, Bass flied out. We're in the top of the 5th. It's a 4-4 game in Game 2 of the Supers. Next pitch to Angelo. Must have been high, and it's 1-2. A win for the Tar Heels today. Paves the path to Omaha. Arizona needs to win to play again tomorrow. The 1-2. Angelo tees off and fouls it off at the plate. Still 1-2 to Carolina's DH. Ball made contact with his right foot as he shakes it out. Home plate umpire Mark Wagers gives him the professional courtesy of dusting off the dish. People helping people, Matt. That's what I say.
Always like that.
We're back to business as Hintz comes set. The 1-2. Missed outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's probably going to be the best pitch that Angelo is going to see over the course of this at-bat. A 2-2 situation.
Infield plays him straight up. The pitch on the way. Angelo grounds it foul past first base off the bricks, and Coach Jackson hustles out into right field to collect the loose change. Should Angelo reach, Carter French would be next. If not, middle third of the order for Arizona comes to hit in the bottom of the fifth. Guzman, Michalakis, and Caulfield. The Wildcats tied this game at 4 in the bottom of the fourth. We play on the top of 5. Hence is 2-2 to Angelo. That's cranked to right field, but it goes to die in the glove of Summerhill as it rocketed off the bat. And the line drive is the third out of the inning. Big Sam's getting his swings in, is he not?
He's making good contact. Just missed that one.
That is a rare 1-2-3 inning. First of the game for either side at the plate. And it sends us to the bottom half of the fifth. Arizona back to the dish with our score tied at 4. Carolina and Arizona play on in the Supers from Learfield.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I can envision a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Are you facing legal questions after an injury from an accident or at work? Don't wait another second. Reach out to Hardison and Cochran at 919-all-4s. Legal consultations come at no cost and are completely confidential. If making a phone call isn't your thing, visit lawyernc.com. That's lawyernc.com. Hardison and Cochran, your trusted North Carolina injury lawyers and proud sponsors of Carolina baseball. With Matt Krause, I'm Dave Nathan. Welcome back to Boshamer Stadium. Arizona hits in the bottom half of the fifth. Our score is tied at 4. This one's gone back and forth. The Wildcats scored first in the first. The Tar Heels took a 2-1 lead in the second. It was 2-2 after 3. The Tar Heels were up 4-2 after the top of the fourth. The Wildcats answered with 2 in the bottom half of the last inning, and here we are in the bottom of the fifth. 4-4 as Guzman takes a called strike from Houck, 0-1.
Battle of the bullpens the rest of the way.
Next pitch, fastball, line between second and short with the shift on. Guzman spanks a single to left center. And his hot-hitting ways continue. He drove in a run with a sac fly in the first. Carolina got him to pop out in the third, but he's productive with a leadoff single. And once again, Arizona's got the leadoff man aboard. Third time in 5 innings. And the table is set for Maddox Michalakis, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of flyouts to Carter French in left. Infield swings around to the right side. Michalakis, the lefty, swings and bounces foul behind first. 0-1 to the Hopkins, Minnesota product. Might remember Kerwin Walton that played basketball here at Carolina. That's Kerwin's hometown of Hopkins. Played his last 3 seasons at Texas Tech. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Houck's got a fastball that can get up into the mid-90s, but the curveball and the changeup, that'll keep you on your heels at the plate. 0-2.
It's when he's at his best, is when he's got those couple of pitches working.
The 0-2 from Houck. Low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, I'm sure a lot of people remember Kerwin Walton from Hopkins, Minnesota, but I bet you didn't know this. When Archie Manning was finishing his pro career in the NFL with the Vikings, do you remember that? Most people don't. Peyton Manning attended elementary school in Hopkins, Minnesota.
I had no idea.
The 1-2. Swing and a foul tip hangs in there, still 1-2. Now, Manning family so synonymous with New Orleans from where they did most of their growing up. The Minnesota history is cast aside, but it's there if you look hard enough. 1983, 1984. Those were the years. What a time to be alive.
For you, not for me.
The 1-2. That's raked foul towards the Arizona bullpen. Still 1-2 to Mikalakis. Yes, the mid-80s. We feel like we are a ways down the road. But as I went next door to talk shop with Arizona's broadcaster, Brian Jeffries, he said 1984 was his first year behind the mic, 41 years ago. He's now seen all of the Carolina-Arizona matchups through the years. The 1-2. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is the 7th all-time meeting between these two foes. The series is tied at 3 games apiece. The first meeting was in 1985 when the Wildcats took 2 out of 3. Arizona came here in the Carolina Invitational in 1989 with half a dozen big leaguers. Carolina won that game in 10 innings, 5-3. The 2-2. Swinging another foul tip that got a piece of Stevenson. He'll walk that off with the count still 2-2. Arizona got a win in 1990, 3-2, and that was the last time these two teams met before yesterday. The Tar Heels winning 18-2 and have the upper hand in the Supers. Today's game tied at 4 in the bottom of the 5th.
These two teams would have played in the Supers last year if Arizona had taken care of business in their home regional. Instead went 0-2. Sent West Virginia here instead.
Guzman, who singled, is at first. Nobody out. The 2-2 from the righty Houck to the lefty Mikalakis gets him swinging, and there's the elusive first strikeout. Carolina gets Mikalakis for the first out of the 5th. Brings Caulfield to the plate, 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. You talk about that Super Regional last year. Carolina scored a total of 10 runs against West Virginia in 2 games. You go back to the 2 prior games in the Supers against Arizona, the Tar Heels totaled 14 runs in their last 4 Supers before yesterday when they broke off 18 runs. Pitch out of Caulfield makes it 1-0. Today we're knotted at 4 in the 5th. 1 out, 1 on for the Wildcats. The second pitch to Caulfield, a righty. Down and away. 2-0 as Houck went off speed. Vanderbrake, Madera, Gallagher on the infield dirt between second and third. Stokely holds Guzman at first. The 2-0. Fastball. Hit the other way in the sky. Foul. Near the construction site. 2-1 the count to Caulfield.
They're working on a Saturday over at the construction site. They got to get that dorm ready to go for August. It's only about, 8-9 weeks away.
The 2-1. Fastball pelted into right field. Bass closes quickly on it. That keeps Guzman to second base. Caulfield behind him at first, and this succession of singles continues for Arizona. 10 hits in the ball game for the Wildcats. The big one was a homer by Splain in the 4th. But this has been a ton of singles for the Wildcats, who try to reclaim the lead with Kane next up. And you guessed it, he's got a single to his credit today, 1 for 2.
20 hits in a game and a half for Arizona, but 17 of the 20 have been singles.
Houck's first pitch inside to the lefty, 1-0. And it's not a team that hit for a huge average this year. Just 285 in total. 9th best in the Big 12 and right around 120th in the country. But the Wildcats are making contact. The 1-0. There's a fastball for a strike at the letters. 1-1. Guzman began the 5th with a single. Mikalakis struck out. Caulfield singled. It's 2 on for Arizona, 1 down. Score tied at 4. Houck's 1-1. Lashed foul the other way. Kane behind in the count, 1-2 as Mark Wagers, the home plate umpire, gets some new baseballs from out of the third base dugout.
Back-to-back 4-seam fastballs from Houck, 95 and 94.
Is he setting him up for the changeup? Let's find out. Swing and a miss. How about the fastball? Elevated and untouchable. 2 outs in the inning. Kane goes down. And while this inning is still in progress, the Tar Heels have a chance to get out of trouble. Splain hitting 8th. Next up. And he's lived on either side of things here today. Put down a sac bunt in the second and drove a homer over the left field wall last inning. 4-4 in the bottom of the 5th. 2 on, 2 down. The pitch from Houck to Splain, the righty. Change up down the middle, called a strike, and it's 0-1 to the California product. He's hit safely in his last 7. The 0-1. Downstairs, 1-1. Disciplined take as there's plenty of cloud cover overhead, but the sunlight is finding all sorts of room to shoot down on Bryson Field just in front of 2 o'clock. The wind has slowed. The heat has picked up in a 4-all game in the 5th. Houck fires the 1-1 inside and off speed. 2 balls and a strike to Arizona's first baseman. Guzman's your lead runner for the Wildcats at second. Caulfield at first. 2 down in the inning. Houck tries to get his mates back to the plate in the top of the 6th. First, the 2-1. Contact and a ground ball base hit through the left side. French gets to it, comes up throwing. The run scores. And Arizona's reclaimed the lead at 5-4. Splain with his second hit. It's a 2-out RBI single. It scores Guzman. And the Wildcats out in front 5-4. Caulfield goes first to third. And the bottom of the 5th rolls on with Breyfogle to hit next.
Houck went with 4 consecutive changeups during that at-bat. Tried to go back to the well. That one caught a lot of the plate. Splain, who, as we've talked about, is perhaps Arizona's hottest hitter right now, didn't miss that one. And again, first to third behind the scoring runner. Caulfield is 90 feet away.
Breyfogle 0 for 1 with the ground ball RBI. He's also scored a run as he swings at the first pitch, a fastball. Powers it foul left side and out of play. 0-1 to Breyfogle. He's got a little lineage in his family. Father Todd played at Kansas, was drafted by Oakland back in '89. That was the heyday for the A's. The 0-1. Sliced foul, and it's 0-2.
Back when they played in a Major League ballpark. Speaking of Major League, did you know that scenes in the movie Major League were filmed at High Corbett Field, Arizona's home field?
That's a good little nugget they provided for us. The 0-2. Fouled away, grounded towards the Arizona dugout, 0-2. I heard a line from a Major League scout that said that of all the baseball movies that have been made, Charlie Sheen had the most natural delivery, and when he ramped up his fastball shooting that movie, he could touch the upper 80s. What does Houck want to do here? The 0-2. Swing and a miss. He went to the curveball. It was in the dirt. Stevenson picks it up and throws out Breyfogle at first. In a roundabout way, Houck strikes out the side, but 1 run comes in. 3 singles, no errors, and 2 left stranded. The Wildcats have had a ton of traffic and have left now 2 stranded in consecutive innings, 7 left on base in the game. We go to the 6th. The Wildcats lead the Tar Heels 5-4 on a Saturday in Chapel Hill. It's Carolina Baseball from Learfield.
This season, enjoy the winning combination of Tar Heel baseball and peanuts grown right here in the Tar Heel State. The peanut farmers of North Carolina are proud to support the Diamond Heels again this year and remind you that peanuts are delicious and nutritious, high in protein, and contain 0 cholesterol. Peanuts are a healthy snack that can be enjoyed on the go, at home, or while you're cheering on the Heels at Boshamer Stadium. So enjoy some North Carolina peanuts today.
When it comes to your home or business, you need a plumbing and HVAC team on your side. Count on Brown Brothers Plumbing and Heating. Serving the community since 1933, our family is here to keep your family comfortable. Whether it is a leaking pipe, stopped up drain, water heater issues, or HVAC needs, we are here for you. Our licensed professionals have the training and experience needed to alleviate your problems and get you back to playing ball. Call Brown Brothers Plumbing and Heating at 919-220-2554 or inquire at bbph.com.
Baseball, you need a great game plan. Same with your healthcare benefits. That's why more people trust Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, the state's most preferred health insurer. So put Blue Cross North Carolina on your team. Blue Cross North Carolina, official health insurance partner of Carolina Athletics. Dave Nathan and Matt Krause, your official Carolina baseball broadcasters. With you from the Bosch. Arizona leads Carolina 5-4 as we are set to start the 6th. Carter French at the plate. Kepley in the on-deck circle. Then Jackson Vanderbrake. Casey Hintz remains on the mound for the visitors from Tucson. Initial pitch. That's hit the other way into left field, and it falls in front of Breifogel. It's a leadoff base hit for Carter French, who's 2 for 3. And how about Carter? 6 multi-hit games this season. He had a 3-hit game in Game 7 against Oklahoma. And he's got another multi-hit performance here today as we get ready to pause 10 seconds for a station ID on the Tar Heel Sports Network. French at first, Kepley at the plate. He swings and grounds to short, scooped up by White, flips to Caulfield for 1, and Kepley thrown out at first on the 4-6-3 GDP. The second double play ball Kepley has grounded into this year. 2 down in the top of the 6th. Nobody on for the Heels, who trail the Arizona Wildcats 5-4.
To double up Kane Kepley, a ball must be hit sharply and perfectly, and unfortunately for the Heels, that was. Kane got it sharply, but right on the ground to Mason White, the shortstop, who was positioned exactly where the ball got to him. And it's the 53rd double play turned by Arizona this year.
First pitch outside to Vanderbrake. 1-0. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's the second most in the Big 12 and 10th in the entire country when the Supers began earlier this week. Here's the 1-0. Vanderbrake takes a strike at the knees. Off speed makes it 1-1.
When you start to study these teams heading into a regional or a super regional, looking at the numbers for Oklahoma and their story, and it proved true. The Sooners were not a great fielding team. Arizona is.
1-1. Slider gets by Vanderbrake, and it's 1-2. And the more that we play these postseason games, Matt, we said it during the ACC tournament, the team that makes the fewest mistakes is likely going to win. Arizona ahead 5-4 in the 6th with 2 out. Vanderbrake knocks a lazy pop to the right side of the infield. Splain tells Caulfield to stay put. He makes the catch on the dirt, and the inning is over. Carolina got a leadoff single from French. Kepley hits into a double play. Vanderbrake pops out. And for the second consecutive inning, the Tar Heels bring just 3 to the plate. And we go to the bottom of the 6th with Arizona up a run 5-4 on Carolina. It's Tar Heel baseball from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Dave Nathan, Matt Krause back here in Chapel Hill for Carolina Baseball. The Tar Heels trail Arizona 5-4. And the Wildcats have the top third of the order due up in the bottom half of the sixth against Aiden Houck. It's Brendan Summerhill, Aaron Walton, and Mason White. Top part of the Arizona lineup has been wacky in the postseason. Top four hitters were 0 for 12 in their first matchup with Cal Poly. Then went 11 for 23 the next day against Utah Valley with 8 runs and 10 RBIs. Go figure. First pitch inside to the lefty, Summerhill. A ball and no strikes. Summerhill 1 for 3. He singled back in the fourth. When the bottom of the sixth, the Wildcats up a run 5-4. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Houck's changeup gets by Summerhill, and it's 1-1.
Chip Hale said in his pre-Super Regional press conference that Arizona made a fundamental change.
1-1 tap foul to make it 1-2.
During batting practice prior to the Utah Valley game, which was their second game of that Eugene Regional, they won the first game against Cal Poly on just 2 hits. They scored 3 runs on 2 hits. The old walk, triple, 2-run homer. And the offense took off from there.
Yeah, all 3 of those runs came in the second inning. The 1-2. Taken outside. I think Stevenson fooled most of the Carolina fans into thinking that was a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The leadoff man, Summerhill, in the sixth. Houck kicks and fires. To the curveball. Down goes Summerhill looking at strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Houck. There's 1 down in the sixth. Houck has K'd as many as 11. That came in that BC game that Matt told you about a little earlier. What a game. 1 out away from a no-hitter. It ends on a ball hitting a runner. The batter credited with a hit, but the game is over on the out. First pitch to Walton. Swing and a miss on the changeup, and it's 0-1. Now, as fate has it, just days later, it feels like, on April Fool's Day, the Tar Heels combined for a 7-inning no-hitter against Gardner-Webb and come from behind to beat the running Bulldogs 11-1. The 0-1 fastball is wide. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Walton.
That was a strange one because Gardner-Webb scored a run without a hit in the first inning, actually led that game.
The 1-1. Houck goes inside with a strike on the corner to make it 1-2 to Walton, who's 3 for 3 with 3 singles, a run scored, and an RBI. He was the first to face Houck back in the fourth. We're in the sixth. Next pitch. There's another swing and miss strike. Pitch was in the dirt. Stevenson throws on the foul side of the first base line to Stokely, and it's 5 Ks for the kid from Zebulon. 2 up and 2 down in the sixth. Our score remains Arizona 5, Carolina 4. And for the first time all day, it feels like the Tar Heels are in a rhythm defensively.
Well, Aiden Houck, when he's at his best, has strikeout stuff. Where he's struggled at points this year is his commands and also being hit around, being susceptible to the home run ball, especially after walking a guy or 2.
First pitch to White. Ground ball past Vanderbreak, diving on the outfield grass, and Bass bobbles it. That'll send White around to second, and he's in standing up with a single and an E9. Second single for White. 12 hits in the game for Arizona. And the bottom of the sixth rolls on with Guzman, the cleanup hitter, at the plate. Drove in a run with a sac fly in the first, popped out to second in the third, singled and scored when he led off the fifth. We're in the bottom of the sixth. Heels down a run, 5-4. Can Guzman take advantage of the Carolina error? First pitch. Changeup in for a strike, 0-1. All this off-speed stuff has confused Arizona. They were sitting on fastballs early yesterday from Knapp. Who knows what's coming from Houck here today? The 0-1. Went off speed but missed low and away to the righty. 1 ball and 1 strike to the catcher from Valley Cottage, New York. And when you go to Valley Cottage, New York, at least when you grow up there, you go to Salesian High School. Same place that produced one of the best in our business, Mike Breen. The 1-1. Check this swing on a pitch outside. Did he go? On appeal down to first. Kevin Sweeney says yes. 1-2 to Guzman. Truth be told, between us and Mike Breen calling the NBA Finals, I think, partner, we got the better deal here in the Supers with Carolina and Arizona. Wouldn't trade spots with Mike for all the money in the world. The 1-2 to Guzman. Fastball outside. That was at 95, and Houck backpedals back to the mound. Thought he might have had strike 3. The 2-2 from the righty to the righty. Grounded behind third and barely. Coach Hale over in the third base coach's box shows everybody just how close that was to being fair or foul as he puts both of his arms up over his head to say just by that much. Still 2-2 to Guzman. The runner back over to second. 2 down in the 6th. The Tar Heels trying to keep this a 1-run game. Arizona 5, Carolina 4. Another 2-2. It's outside. Couldn't get the strike call with the curveball. Matt, the count is full.
Guzman battling and battling, working this thing full. Impactful payoff pitch with a man in scoring position, and the Heels already down 1.
Here's the payoff pitch. Curveball inside, ball 4. That's the first walk Houck has issued up against 5 strikeouts. He's lasted 2 innings coming in for DeCaro. And Michalakis up next, 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts to left. He was the first strikeout victim of Houck in the 5th. Arizona has doubled Carolina in the hits department, 12-6. Pitch to Michalakis. High, and the lefty takes a fastball, 1-0. White singled to right with 2 down. Got to second base on a bumble in the outfield from Bass. Guzman at first after the bases on balls. The 1-0. Michalakis pops the pitch foul up against the rail of the visiting dugout. Of course, today, the visiting dugout has the team from Tucson in it, designated as the home team in Game 2 of the Supers. Wrap your mind around that.
At least they flipped that rule a couple of years ago where Carolina can be in their usual dugout the entire weekend.
The 1-1. Fly ball into right field, and that falls in front of Bass. The runner from second comes around to score. The throw to the plate is late. White driven in by Michalakis, and the Wildcats lead 6-4. This feels like death by 1,000 cuts. 13 hits in the game. And we're still in the bottom half of the 6th. Arizona's bats have come to life with 2 down throughout this contest.
Death by 1,000 cuts for sure. 13 hits for Arizona. And the Wildcats have just that 1 extra base hit. It's been the tortured pitching department for the Heels today.
Wildcats 6 for 11 with 2 down. This is Caulfield at the plate. Righty takes a curveball on the outside corner. 0-1. Caulfield 2 for 3. 2 singles and a run scored. Guzman, Arizona's lead runner at second. Michalakis behind him at first. 6-4 Wildcats in the 6th. As Stevenson steals a strike for Houck. Framing that on the outer half. It's 0-2 to Caulfield. To put that 2-out hitting in perspective, the Tar Heels are 0 for 6 today. The 0-2. Houck put everything into that fastball well outside. 1-2 to the Arizona middle infielder. Both runners have pretty significant leads off of first and second. There's 2 down in the 6th. The Wildcats lead by 2 runs. Houck's 1-2 to Caulfield. Ends the inning on a half swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Houck, his 6th. But Arizona strikes for another run. 2 singles, an error, 2 left stranded. We go deeper into today's game with the Wildcats enjoying their biggest lead, 6-4 from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Like a walk-off home run to beat your rival or the play you can remember like it was yesterday. Penn Station East Coast Subs fuels your passion for greatness. With a menu featuring an array of mouth-watering grilled submarine sandwiches, fresh-cut fries, and hand-squeezed lemonade, let Penn Station Subs make every day feel like game day. Penn Station East Coast Subs is happy to serve you with 6 locations right here in the Triangle. Come see us in store or order online. Penn Station East Coast Subs. It's all about good taste.
Carolina Baseball is presented all season long by Hardison and Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison and Cochran, 919-ALL-4s.
All of a sudden, we're in the 7th inning. Arizona leads Carolina 6-4, and if you've been listening to Carolina Baseball this year, you know the 7th inning comes with a peanut fact of the game, brought to you by the Peanut Growers of North Carolina. Last year, over 560 million pounds of peanuts were harvested right here in North Carolina. NC Peanuts are always a hit and proud supporters of Tar Heel Baseball. Visit aboutpeanuts.com to learn more. Stumbled upon some trail mix that have these peanut M&Ms in them, Krause. Rare is it that you find trail mix with just the regular M&Ms and the peanut M&Ms together. It's a good find.
It's a really quality snack. I've got a bag of it here myself.
Just imagine if you could actually pick peanut M&Ms and didn't have to go through the trouble of combining the two entities. Here's Stevenson to lead off the 7th for Carolina. Lefty takes a ball outside, and it's 1-0. Again, if you're just joining us, Arizona has its biggest lead, 6-4. 13 hits for the Wildcats in a must-win situation for U of A. Next pitch to Stevenson. Roams inside, and it's 2-0 to the Carolina catcher. Hit into a fielder's choice in the first. Struck out looking to end the second. Doubled in a run in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. The 2-0. Had a pitch to hit. Never got the bat off his shoulder. 2-1 to the Carolina backstop. 2 for 5 yesterday, 4 RBIs. Hit his 19th homer of the season. Hence is 2-1. Stevenson got a piece of it. Fouls it back, 2-2. What do you say, Matt? Hence has been the most consistent of any of the 5 arms that have pitched today for either side?
Absolutely. Stevenson, though, the last Tar Heel to see him for a first time. We'll see how that impacts things.
Next pitch, barely low. 3-2. Hintz turned his back to the home plate umpire, disgusted with the call. Stevenson leads the ACC in walks, top 10 in the country. Can he get one here? The payoff pitch, bouncing ball towards first base, on the line, and behind it, foul. First base umpire Kevin Sweeney put both arms up in the sky. Calls the play dead, still 3-2 to Stevenson. Leading off the 7th for Carolina. Arizona ahead 6-4. Gallagher on deck, then it's Hunter Stokely. Big part of the Carolina order. Due up against Hintz, who's gone 2 2/3, allowing just one singular solo hit. The 3-2, a little high, and it's ball 4. Stevenson earns the walk, his 59th on the season. And he's tied with Barney Spooner for 4th all-time in a single season. And taking free passes, Barney got his back in 1982.
Scott Forbes said that as Luke Stevenson had been struggling throughout the regional, there were some conversations this week with Coach Forbes, Coach Worsbicki, and Luke where they talked about how for Stevenson, a walk is his single.
This is Gallagher, swings at the first pitch, drives a fly ball to right. Summerhill running towards it, can't get it. It falls near the line in fair territory. Stevenson had to wait. He gets to second, and the Tar Heels have two aboard.
Soft contact off the end of the bat, but Summerhill had a long way to go. Summerhill missed some time right around the end of April and early May with a hamstring injury. Wonder if that perhaps impacted his speed to be able to get to that ball as Carolina's got 2 on and nobody out.
What'd you say? I couldn't hear you. This crowd is deafening. First and second for Carolina. Nobody out in the 7th. Arizona 6, Carolina 4. And a mound meeting for Hintz. He's gone through the order once. What awaits the second time through with Hunter Stokely at the plate? 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Stevenson at second, Gallagher at first. While we've got a minute, Matt, let's check some of the other scores on this Super Regional Saturday. This is Game 2 between Carolina and Arizona. The Tar Heels won yesterday 18-2. Some other series lifting off today.
Well, one series that will go to a Game 3 is Louisville and Miami. Miami has won 9-6. They will play a winner-take-all game tomorrow in Louisville. Duke and Murray State tied up at 2, top of the 4th inning in Durham. West Virginia and LSU scoreless bottom 1. Coming up 3 o'clock, Coastal Carolina going for the sweep of Auburn. That is the potential matchup for the Tar Heels in the first game in Omaha.
What a job by JT Arteaga, getting Miami within 1 game of the World Series as Stokely stands ready to hit. First pitch, swing and a miss. The slider registers 0-1 to the Tar Heels first baseman. Hintz comes set from the third base side of the bump. The 0-1. Stokely fans, and it's 0-2. Stevenson took a leadoff walk on a payoff pitch. Gallagher floated a single to right, just left of the line. Those two are aboard. The 0-2, and Stokely slowly taps to first base. Splain steps on the bag. Works the same as a sacrifice. Both runners advance. Stevenson to third, Gallagher to second, and Alex Madera strides to hit next from the left side with a chance to draw Carolina closer. Our score currently reads Arizona 6, Carolina 4. We reside in the top of the 7th in Chapel Hill.
And you'll take that if you're the Tar Heels, because now the traditional double play is not in order. 2 in scoring position, and Madera is a solid contact hitter.
First pitch to Madera. Bouncing ball foul in front of the Arizona dugout. Right of first base. 0-1 to Ahmad, who's 1 for 3, although Hintz got him to ground out back in the 5th. His single came in the 3rd when Hicks was on the mound. The corners play in. The 0-1. Madera dumps it foul behind the left-handed batter's box. 0-2 to the Tar Heel shortstop. Sun begins to shine back down on Bryson Field. There's some cloud cover above, but there is plenty of heat. Temperatures near 90, nearing 230. The 0-2. Fastball sails high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Madera.
Activity in the Arizona bullpen is their standout closer, Tony Pluta. He of the sub-2 ERA and 13 saves.
2 on, 1 down, the 1-2. Madera drives a fly ball to shallow left. Breyfogle is underneath it. Stevenson tags at third and stays at third. The throw cut off left of the mound, and the Tar Heels situation has not improved. I don't fault Coach Forbes for keeping Stevenson there. If he's thrown out at the plate, it's inning over. You still have 2 on scoring position for Tyson Bass, who's due. 0 for 2 today with a run scored. He was 2 for 5 yesterday, also scoring one of Carolina's 18 runs and the 18-2 runaway in Game 1 of the Supers. So Stevenson and Gallagher got aboard with nobody out. Stokely and Madera both been retired. First pitch to Bass. Tap towards the Heels on deck circle. Foul, 0-1 to Bass. 6-4, Arizona up a couple in the 7th. A win today for the Tar Heels sends the Heels back to the College World Series. The 0-1. Same result, foul ball behind the plate. Hence a pitch away from getting out of this jam and stranding 2 more Tar Heels. Carolina's already stranded 7 today. The Wildcats have left 9 on the base paths. Stevenson off at third base, Gallagher at second. The 0-2 from Hintz to Tyson Bass. Over his head, look out. 1-2 to the Carolina right fielder.
That'll wake you up.
I'd say half this fan base is standing, and we're just in the 7th inning. The 1-2, Bass. He launches deep to left field, through the lights, past the trees, and Carolina leads 7-6 on Tyson Bass's 11th home run of 2025. Goodness me. Bass. He baited the hook, and he fired off a largemouth. That's the 4th 3-run homer for Carolina this weekend against Arizona. And we know this, heading towards the stretch, Carolina's got the lead. It is 7-6, and game on from Boshamer Stadium.
Well, as you said, he is due.
That's another home run brought to you by Lowe's Foods, supporting home plate since 1954. Angelo next up. He had a 2-run homer back in the 2nd. Lefty looks at a pitch low, 1 ball and no strikes. As fan base, not that they were ever out of it, they are into it like nobody's business. 7-6 Heels in the 7th. Second pitch to Angelo. Bounded foul in front of the Arizona dugout. 1-1 to Sam, who's 1 for 3.
Fan base was definitely not out of it, but needed a little bit of a pick-me-up. Carolina had been quieted by Casey Hintz. And Tyson Bass certainly woke up the Boshamer faithful.
Coach Jackson, Coach Forbes flank Angelo on the Argyle strip left of third base with 2 down in the top of the 7th. And the Tar Heels back out in front of Arizona. 7-6. Tyson Bass with RBIs 45, 46, and 47. What a moment to light the lamp. The wind, by the way, is picked up, but that ball didn't need any help. Coach Jackson heads back over to the first base coach's box. Coach Forbes back down the line at third, and we play on. 1 ball and 1 strike to Angelo. Hintz delivers a called strike at the waist. That was the fastball. Moving all over the place. 1-2 to Angelo. Tries to continue the top of the 7th for Carolina. Next offering from the righty. Angelo, he land base, a single between first and second. Rolling into right field. He's got another multi-hit game. His 7th of the season. And we play on in the 7th. Here's Carter French, the 7th Tar Heel to come to the plate against Hintz, who was good first time through. Second time, a different story.
4 of the last 6 have reached against Hintz in this second trip through the order. Walk, single, couple of outs, and then the home run and another single.
French, 2 for 3. Takes a first pitch, slider outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Carolina's left fielder. It is a 7-6 game. Carolina has retaken the lead for the 3rd time today as Hintz sidearms a shot over to first base. Angelo, not one to run. He's not attempted a steal this year. He's back in time. A ball and no strikes to French with 2 down in the top of the 7th. Carolina leads by a run. The 1-0. Strike call on the off-speed stuff, 1-1.
This feels like a game, though, that 7-6 is not going to be the final score.
No, you might want to stick around until this one goes final. A lot of baseball left. The 1-1. Downstairs, 2-1 to the lefty French. Carolina's going to force you to throw strikes. Garazar issued 3 walks in the start. Hicks walked 3 Tar Heels. Hintz has walked 1. The 2-1. French, he sends a single the other way into left field. And what do you say we keep going in the top of the 7th? Angelo to second base. French has 3 hits. For the second time in his career, they've both been in the postseason. And the lineup turns over to the Lion King. There are plush animals being held overhead of thousands of Carolina fans inside Boshamer Stadium. And Coach Hale, he forgot his plushie. He's out on the field to make another move.
Tried to get Hintz through the lineup a second time. And Casey Hintz runs into a wall here in the 7th. Now, here's perhaps Arizona's greatest strength in their bullpen, and that's going from Hintz to Tony Pluta. Pluta making his 27th appearance of the season, all in relief. 2-0, a 1.39 ERA, 13 saves, 32 1/3 innings of work, 20 hits, just 5 runs, all of them earned, just 5 walks to 31 strikeouts. Opponents hit 185 against the relatively small in stature, 5'9", 189 junior out of Palatine, Illinois.
He packs a punch. All Big 12 second team. Number 1 in the conference in saves. Number 7 in the country in saves. And to bring him in the 7th down a run, this feels like Arizona's putting down a pretty big marker to try to keep this as a 1-run game. And if you need to burn this guy to get to tomorrow, you have to do it. But at this stage, Carolina's up 7-6. If Arizona's going to come back, it's going to take at least 8 runs to win this ball game.
Yeah, this is Arizona banking on the fact that Pluta shuts down the Heels the rest of the way, and that the Wildcats can tally at least 2 against what's likely to be Walker McDuffie or Ryan Lynch out of the Carolina bullpen now, with the Heels holding the lead. Now, Arizona is the home team, so we're talking about the 7th inning here. Arizona does have 3 more cracks as this pitching change is made in the 7th, unlike if there was a pitching change with the Heels batting in the 7th in a quote-unquote normal situation.
In a weird way, it almost feels like the bigger question right now is how does Carolina answer out of the bullpen, or does it? Do you stick with Houck? Do you go to one of those 2 freshmen? I can only imagine what's going on between the ears of Coach Forbes and Coach Howell and Coach Gaines downstairs. You've got this lead now, 7-6 in the 7th, but Arizona's going to hit at least 3 more times. And this is bringing back memories of last year when nothing was ever done until that last out was recorded, sometimes in 9 innings, sometimes a little deeper than that.
10 innings against LSU in the NCAA Regional a year ago. First things first, though, Kane Kepley can give Pluta a very rude greeting and add to this Tar Heel lead.
Pluta wears number 37. Kepley wears number 27. They meet 60 feet 6 inches from one another in the game's biggest moment. 2 on, 2 down, top of the 7th. Heels 7, Wildcats 6. Pluta's first pitch of the afternoon. It's a strike at the knees to Kepley. The lefty falls behind 0-1. Pluta digs in from the middle of the rubber with an eye on second base. The pitch. Gets away from the catcher. Both runners advance. And fortunately for Arizona, the ball stayed out of the dugout. Angelo down to third base. French to second. On the wild pitch by Pluta, just the 3rd of the season for the Illinois product. Wow. The plot thickens, partner.
Different pressure coming into a game like this.
Second and third for the Tar Heels. The third baseman, Mikalakis, in on the grass. The 1-1 to Kepley. Inside fastball, grazed Kepley on the arm, and he's down to first base. The sacks are packed as Kepley gets a little closer to Carolina history. Hit for the 27th time this year. He's one off the record 28 set by Ryan Erie 25 years ago. As the umpires may want to take a second look at this, Kepley seemed adamant that ball hit him. There's got to be conclusive evidence that it did not if the play is going to be overturned. And this, I always feel like, Matt, it's a tough one to overturn when you're talking about a batter being grazed by a pitch. We're getting a second look on the scoreboard in left center field, and on that, from as far away as we are, the ball looked like it headed straight down on the dirt after it hit Kepley on the arm. Now, maybe Arizona wants to say that Kepley dove into it, but that's another tough one to overturn.
Yeah, I didn't see that he dove into it. He didn't make much of an effort to get out of the way of it, but that's Kane Kepley, right? That's what he's done all year long.
Bases loaded for the time being with 2 down in the top of the 7th. Carolina got a 3-run homer from Tyson Bass to reclaim the lead. It was 6-4 Arizona entering this inning. It's currently 7-6 Tar Heels with a chance to tack on more. And let us not forget, all the way back in the first, the Tar Heels took 3 walks, had the bases loaded, couldn't push a run in, Matt. They left the bases loaded, and time will tell if that's going to be a bugaboo for how this game ends or not.
Well, Carolina's left 7 aboard. Arizona's left 9. All 7 of those runners left on for the Heels came in the first 4 innings. Review is done. Here comes the announcement from Kevin Sweeney, the crew chief.
So it doesn't just stand, it's confirmed. Kepley hit for the 27th time. And let's just run through some of these numbers. Kepley, third all-time in a single season with 7 triples, one off the Carolina record of 8. He's third all-time in steals with 45, tied with Russ Adams. And he's one off, tying Ryan Erie's single-season record for being hit by a pitch. Vanderbreak next up at the plate from the right side. Pluta's pitch outside of the righty. 1 ball and no strikes to Vanderbreak, who's 0 for 1. He's walked 3 times and scored a run. Carolina 7, Arizona 6. In the 7th, the wind has picked up the intensity. It's ratcheted up. The 1-0. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Pluta couldn't locate the fastball. Angelo at third, he singled. French also singled at second. Kepley hit by a pitch at first. A little bit of a shift on with the second baseman Caulfield behind the bag. The 2-0 to Vanderbreak. Ball 3 inside. No margin for Pluta. And here come the fans again. This place sounds like a runway at RDU with a jet getting ready to take off. Here's the 3-0. Just clipped the outside corner with a fastball. 3-1. And I'm guessing these 4,000-plus fans will work themselves back into a frenzy with the bases loaded and 2 down in the 7th. Carolina up a run. Pluta from the stretch. The 3-1. Vanderbreak took a big swing and fouled it off at the plate. It rolls down the third base line and squirts into left field. 3-2. So the game's biggest moment is here, and it's now. Payoff pitch from Pluta to Vanderbreak with the Heels up a run. Bases loaded, 2 down. We'll let the crowd tell you what happens. Ball 4 low. And Angelo scores from third to make it 8-6 in favor of the Diamond Heels. French moves to third, Kepley to second. Vanderbreak takes his 4th walk, drives in a run, and Carolina has batted around in the 7th.
And it's just the 6th walk allowed by Tony Plutza all year. But it's Jackson Vanderbreek's 4th walk.
Vandy has taken a total of 7 free passes this weekend. Stevenson next up at the dish from the left side. Pluta deals a ball, 1-0. Fastball inside. Stevenson's day got off to a tough start, hitting into a fielder's choice and striking out. Then he doubled in a run in the 4th. He walked to begin this inning and later scored on the Bass homer. 8-6 Heels in the 7th. The 1-0. Inside for ball 2. I don't know if Arizona's got another answer. They started Garazor. They went to Hicks, then to Hintz. Pluta on the mound needs a moment. Guzman goes out to chat with his battery mate.
Bullpen's quiet, and you mentioned, does Arizona have an answer? Truth be told, Hintz and Plutza are their A and B guys out of the bullpen. They are their Lynch and McDuffie.
Key moment this inning was the 3-run homer by Bass. Since then, the Tar Heels have gotten singles from Angelo and French. Kepley hit by a pitch. Vanderbreek walked in a run. The damage has been done with 2 outs after the Tar Heels were 0 for 2 outs up to this inning. Here's the 2-0 from the righty to the lefty. Fastball registers as a strike on the inside corner. 2-1. Stevenson steps out. Enters the batter's box. And awaits the 2-1 from Arizona's closer. It's on the way. And it's bounced behind first. Foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stevenson takes a lap around the plate. Everybody heads back. French to third. Kepley jogs to second. Vanderbreek paces back to first. Coach Jackson hollers out some instructions from his perch outside the first base coach's box. Coach Forbes gets a word with French down the line at third. Here's the 2-2 from Pluta to Luke Stevenson. Off speed, gets him swinging. And the inning is over. Carolina from down 6-4, up 8-6, gets 4 runs in the inning. 5 hits, no errors, and for the second time the bases are left loaded. Time to stretch as the Heels lead the Wildcats 8-6 in the Supers from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Dave Nathan and Matt Krause back here in Chapel Hill, Boshamer Stadium. Super Regional Game 2 between Carolina and Arizona. The Tar Heels won handily yesterday, 18-2. Nothing's been easy about today as the Wildcats hit in the bottom half of the 7th. Tyson Bass's 3-run homer propelled the Tar Heels to a 7-6 lead, and then a walk to Jackson Vanderbreek with the bases loaded made it 8-6. Arizona down a couple, and the Tar Heels back into their bullpen with Walker McDuffie, This call to the pen brought to you by your trusted and local home repair company, Triangle Home Repair and Paint. Contact them today and get your honey-do list done now. Matt, if this is a game of poker, both coaches have pushed all their chips into the middle of the table, and we're just waiting to flip over some cards to see how this one shakes down.
Here comes Walker McDuffie for what you would have to imagine will be a 9-out save to send the Tar Heels to the College World Series.
McDuffie's got 7 saves on the season, and you're running out of fingers to count those 3-inning saves. His first pitch, it's a strike to the lefty Kane. 0-1 to the DH, who's 1 for 3 with a single, a ground out, and a strikeout. Carolina 8, Arizona 6. The 0-1 drops low, 1-1. Heels infield, plays Kane straight up. The outfield at regular depth with the wind barely blowing the flags in center towards left. The 1-1. McDuffie shoots a fastball outside, 2-1. Kane tightens the gloves. Stands back in from the left side against the Heels righty. 2-1, down and in, 3-1.
So if this works, it's a 9-out save for McDuffie, and Carolina sweeps the super. If Arizona comes back, you've probably, but not certainly, burned McDuffie for tomorrow.
3-1, under the arms of Kane, and a leadoff walk.
So as you said, Dave, both coaches putting all the chips into the middle. High leverage relievers on both sides in this game that still could go either way, but Carolina has to feel pretty good about themselves, up by a pair.
Hayden Houck lasted 2 1/3, struck out 6, allowed 6 hits and 2 runs. Walked just 1. As Tommy Splain next up from the right side. He's homered and singled in a run. First pitch in an all-righty showdown. Framed on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 to Splain. Again, the Tar Heels lead 8-6 in the bottom of 7. A win for Carolina punches the ticket to Omaha. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. There's the slider. 0-2. McDuffie has a slider that's as devastating as any, breaking 16 to 20 inches on a good day. With a runner at first, Kane off the bag. The 0-2 to Splain. McDuffie, he went back to it, but he didn't get a swing. Pitch outside, 1-2 to the Wildcat first baseman. Stokely holds the runner at first, who's not attempted a steal this year. The 1-2. There's a slider. There's a swing and a miss. And there's strike 3. Down goes Splain for the first out of the 7th. McDuffie registers his first strikeout. And this Carolina bullpen today has combined for 7 strikeouts after DeCaro didn't record a K through 3 2/3.
Arizona was able to see DeCaro, and while they piled up just 4 runs over the 3 2/3 from 7 hits, they made solid contact.
9 spot due up. Breyfogle from the left side looks at ball 1 low and away. Breyfogle drove in a run with a ground ball to first in the 2nd, walked and scored in the 4th, and struck out to end the 5th. When the bottom of the 7th, the Heels lead the Wildcats 8-6. There's 1 out and 1 on. McDuffie's 1-0. Just missed outside. Fans beside themselves. Count moves to 2-0 to Breyfogle. He was limited last year due to injury. Nothing's going to keep this kid off the field today. Throw to first base. And again, Kane, who's not attempted a steal this year, dives back in under the tag of Stokely. The 2-0 to Breyfogle. Ground ball. That'll see its way into right field. It went right in front of the runner, Kane. And 2 on for Arizona with 1 down. This feels like deja vu all over again. The Wildcats have stranded at least a runner in all 6 innings so far. They've stranded 2 in the last 3 innings. And this won't be a clean, tidy inning here for McDuffie, who walked the leadoff man before he struck out Splain. Breyfogle singles, and the lineup flips over to Summerhill, who's 1 for 4 with his only base hit a single coming back in the 4th. We're in the 7th. The Heels up 2 runs, 8-6. First pitch to the lefty. Summerhill looks at a fastball on the outside corner. 0-1. Matt, take me inside the batter's box. McDuffie's got a heater that can get up to 94. He's got that slider with the break plus the changeup. What do you do?
Well, Arizona's seeing the fastball relatively well here.
The 0-1. Fastball away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Summerhill.
You're having to nibble a little bit with the fastball. And then if you fall behind in counts, that just increases Arizona's chances there. And so the slider works off of establishing the fastball for called strikes.
McDuffie stays away from the plate with ball 2 missing. It's 2-1 to Summerhill. Kane at second, Breyfogle at first. The combination of a 3-run homer by Tyson Bass and a Jackson Vandenbrink walk with the bases loaded has given Carolina an 8-6 lead in the 7th. The 2-1. Fly ball left side, foul. Top row of the seats, kicks around, and it turns into a souvenir. It levels the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Summerhill. Out of the Windy City. No breeze to speak of right now. It is hot and heavy downstairs on Bryson Field. The 2-2. Knocked foul towards the coach's offices. And was that Michael Beal with a bare hand catch? Absolutely. Beal still got some skills. Don't let him fool you.
What a play.
2-2 the count to Summerhill. McDuffie checks to second. The pitch. Ground ball. That is over third and fair by inches. Rolling towards the corner. Kane sent around to score. Coasting into second with a double. Summerhill brings the Wildcats within 1 at 8-7. Bad luck for Carolina. Summerhill fought that pitch off, grounded the other way, and by inches past third base, it was fair. It's back to a 1-run affair. 8-7, Carolina in the 7th. First base open, 2 in scoring position. And Walton, who's 3 for 4, next up at the plate. Coach Gaines out of the dugout.
What a piece of hitting by Brendan Summerhill, a player who is likely to be a first-round pick this July. He's battled injuries throughout this year. Scott Forbes compared him offensively to J.J. Weatherholt, who was a top 10 pick of the Cardinals last year that Carolina saw in the Super for West Virginia. And Summerhill, it looked like he was trying to go the opposite way, Dave, because that slider that he fouled off that resulted in the great play being made by Carolina Sport Administrator Michael Beal. That was a spot where Summerhill's trying to stay back on it, kind of inside out it, and he's able to do so down the left field line on a hot shot ground ball. Give Carter French credit, though, for getting over to that ball in the corner, because that was what resulted in the late stop sign from Chip Hale. Carolina far from out of the woods with 2 in scoring position, only 1 out, but still holding the lead for now.
That's a season-high 15 hits allowed by Carolina as McDuffie goes back to work with Walton at the plate. Delivers a first pitch slider for a strike, and it's 0-1 to the righty. Walton was the first to face Houck when he singled in the 4th. Houck got him on strikes in the 6th. McDuffie faces him in the 7th with the Heels up a run 8-7. 1 down, runners at second and third. The 0-1. Wipeout slider. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to the Arizona center fielder. Gallagher at third plays even with the bag. Stokely well off the line at first, adjacent to the base. The second baseman and shortstop, Vandenbrink and Madera, play on the left side of the infield deep near the outfield cut. Massive pitch on the way. And McDuffie sticks with the slider. It gets by Stevenson and goes to the backstop. Run number 8 comes in. Breyfogle ties the game. Summerhill advances to third. And the Tar Heels' 2-run lead disappears in an instant. 8 all in the 7th. And Carolina's got to bring the infield in with just 1 down.
Dave, you and I are partial to one of the teams in this game. That increases our stress level involved in this contest. If you are not partial to one of these two teams, what an entertaining ball game.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Walton. McDuffie fires, and he left it outside. Appealed down to first, but nothing doing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You hearken back to what Coach Williams used to say, and he's here today. If you didn't care about who won or lost, it was a great game, but we care about this more than most. Here's the 2-2 from the righty to the righty. Swing and a miss. Got him with the slider. McDuffie racks up his second strikeout, second out of the inning. And Mason White to hit with the score tied at 8 in the 7th. It's a big-time game in Chapel Hill, Game 2 of the Supers. Arizona has to win to keep its season alive. Tar Heels would prefer to win today and get ready for Omaha. 8-8, 25 total hits in the game. Arizona's got 15 of them. White has 2 singles. The pitch well wide, and it's 1-0.
Last 4 hits for Arizona against the Carolina bullpen have come by left-handed hitters, of which White is one.
The 1-0 to the lefty. Missed outside, 2-0. The shift moves around to the right side of the infield, which is covered in sunlight just in front of 3 p.m. 8-8 our score in the bottom of the 7th. McDuffie kicks and fires. Ball 3. He's lingering around the outer part of the plate, and he's not getting any of these calls. The Tar Heels, by the way, have Gallagher, Stokely, and Madera due up whenever we get to the top of the 8th. Only base runner Summerhill at third. The 3-0 pitch lands in the zone for a called strike, 3-1. The Wildcats are 6 for 12 today with 2 outs. McDuffie's got the sign as he comes set from the first base side of the rubber. The 3-1. Whacked foul up against the face of the Wildcat dugout. 3-2. Matt, it's as if the final pitches of every inning are the biggest pitches of the game to that point. And here comes another one.
Go-ahead run 90 feet away for Arizona. Walker McDuffie, the true freshman, trying to keep this game tied at 8.
The all-important payoff pitch. Bounced again towards the Arizona dugout. Still 3-2. Some more balls brought out to Mark Wagers, calling the balls and strikes. You want to talk about hot under all that equipment down in the heat, responsible for every pitch. That's Mark Wagers. 8-8. Carolina and Arizona knotted in the 7th with 2 down and a runner at third. McDuffie's second payoff pitch to White. High, and it's ball 4. Missed with the fastball. And Arizona has Guzman, the cleanup hitter, at the plate with runners at the corners. Second walk of the inning issued by McDuffie. It's just a different feel down there for whatever reason. McDuffie has been an ice-cold assassin his entire year. From small-town North Carolina to the big stage. Can McDuffie get this final out of the 7th and send us to the 8th, tied at 8? It's an all-righty showdown as Guzman looks at a slider low, 1-0. Guzman had a sac fly RBI in the first. He popped out to second in the third. Singled and scored in the 5th. Walked in the 6th. The bottom of the 7th continues. The 1-0. There's a strike. Right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to the righty catcher, Adonis Guzman. 5 hits this weekend. 4 came yesterday in the Heels' 18-2 win. The 1-1. Checked his swing. Appeal down to first. We don't need it. That's a strike. 1-2 to Guzman. And as McDuffie goes to the back of the mound, a lot riding on this next pitch. With Summerhill at third, White at first. 2 down in the 7th, tied at 8. Again, we'll let the crowd tell you what happens. A lot of oohs and ahs for a pitch that was high. Stevenson had to leap out of his catcher's crouch to keep that in front of him. McDuffie put everything he had into that. 95 miles per hour on the radar gun. The count moves to 2-2 to the former Boston College Eagle, now an Arizona Wildcat. McDuffie's 2-2 to the plate. Missed outside, and it's 3-2. Peering into the Carolina bullpen, the Tar Heels have a lefty up and working. Mikalakis would be next if the inning continues. The 3-2. That's knocked the other way foul. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mikalakis is a lefty. Does Coach Forbes tinker with the matchup move at this stage? If we play on, does he stick with McDuffie? Another 3-2 pitch to Guzman. Outside and low, ball 4. And that's the 3rd walk of the inning for McDuffie, who's loaded the bases. He's thrown a wild pitch. He gave up a squirrely double down the line at 3rd. And now after the Tar Heels left the bases loaded in the top of the 7th, Arizona's got him loaded up in the bottom of the 7th. And Mikalakis is the 8th to come to the plate this inning. Coach Forbes out of the dugout, and he's making a slow stroll to the mound. While he makes that walk to the bump, we're past 3 o'clock. We'll pause 10 seconds for a station ID. It's Carolina Baseball on the Tar Heel Sports Network. Walker McDuffie comes off the mound just 2/3 of an inning. Matt, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about a 3-inning save, and how far off the mark were we? McDuffie doesn't even get through the 7th before the Tar Heels have to go back to the bullpen. And these calls this year sponsored by your trusted and local home repair company, Triangle Home Repair and Paint. Contact them today and get your honey-do list done now. The lefty that was warming up, Folger Boaz, and he's got the ball after missing last year's postseason. Back from injury this year. He was the Tar Heels' #1 starter for a good portion of 2024. It was said a lot last year. You can recover from a bad start. It's really hard to recover from a bad bullpen. And with the bases loaded, 2 down in the 7th, score tied at 8, there's just no wiggle room here for Boaz out of Pilot Mountain.
Folger Boaz coming out of the bullpen for the Tar Heels, making his 23rd appearance of the season, 19th in relief, 3-0 with a 4.08 ERA, 28 2/3 innings of work, 29 hits, 19 runs, 13 earns. And here is where there is no wiggle room, Dave. 18 walks to 30 strikeouts. Opponents bat .261 against Boaz. Boaz also has hit 6 batters throughout this year, and he's also had some homers hit against him. So this is a high leverage spot for the sophomore left-hander. On one hand, if you win the lefty-lefty matchup against Mikalakis, you force Arizona to strand the bases loaded. And that would have the Wildcats up to 12 left on base through 7 innings, including a whopping 9 left on base in the last 4 innings. On the flip side, if Arizona is able to come through here, then the Wildcats have the lead back. And again, I know me in particular keep talking about tomorrow and the strategy of a super regional here, knowing full well that if Carolina wins this game, there is no tomorrow. But the Tar Heels now will have to rely on McDuffie to bounce back after that outing, if he's even available tomorrow.
Well, he threw 38 pitches.
Right.
And didn't get out of the inning.
Yeah.
And I feel like with all these high-leverage moments we're talking about, somebody's going to come up with a drinking game every time it's mentioned, because we've talked about it. It feels like every half inning.
So now, really among high-leverage Carolina arms, Ryan Lynch is the one that you have not used yet in this game or this weekend. But here we go. Mikalakis against Boaz. Lefty-lefty. bases loaded, 2 outs, tie game.
First pitch, Mikalakis lines over second base and into right field. Summerhill scores to make it 9-8, and behind him, White scores to make it 10-8. First, it was Carolina down 2 to up 2. Arizona down 8-6 when this inning began. Now leads 10-8. Both teams have answered. Both teams have put up 4 runs in the 7th, and we're still not done. As this 2-out barrage of base hits continues for Arizona, another single.
Both teams bat around in the 7th. Mikalakis was standing there watching Boaz warm up, knew what he wanted, got the 80-mile-an-hour slider, and didn't miss.
Caulfield, 9th to the plate. From the right side, takes a strike. 0-1. 10-8, Arizona has hit double figures against Carolina. The 0-1. Fastball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Tar Heels allowed a season-high 13 runs to Stanford in Game 1 of that series way back on March the 7th. 3 months ago. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes to Caulfield. Since then, the Tar Heels had allowed 9 against Oklahoma, 10 against Elon. We'll see where this one goes. The 1-2. Barely outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Carolina with a team ERA of 3.37 entering play today. It's not the norm, but what is in baseball? The 2-2. Caulfield bounces to short. Madera gets to it, slides his feet, throws to first, and the inning comes to a conclusion. 4 runs come in for the Wildcats on 3 hits. No errors. And 2 runners left stranded. That's 11 runners left on base for Arizona. The Tar Heels have stranded 10. We've played 7. And the road back begins now for Carolina as Arizona leads Carolina 10-8 in Game 2 of the Supers in Chapel Hill from Learfield.
Hello, I'm Ben Cochran, managing partner at Hardison & Cochran, attorneys at law. My firm helps good people in North Carolina who have unfortunately had their life turned upside down due to an injury. We help our clients by telling their story and leveling the playing field against opponents who have an army of lawyers fighting to diminish or outright deny their claim. We're ready to help. All you have to do is reach out.
Hardison & Cochran, North Carolina personal injury attorneys, 919 all 4s.
Hey Tar Heel fans, this is Dave Nathan, here to remind you that revenue generated from the sale of officially licensed Tar Heel merchandise directly supports both need and merit-based scholarships for Carolina students. Next time you're shopping for your favorite Tar Heel gear, make sure to look for the officially licensed collegiate product label before you buy. This ensures the product has been approved by the university. Be blue and true, buy licensed, fund scholarships, and go Heels.
Carolina and Arizona. This is a game that's got more twists and turns than a cross-country trail. 10-8, Arizona up on the heels. Both teams scored 4 runs in the 7th. We go to the 8th. The Heels are down 2. Gallagher, Stokely, and Madera. Not a bad place to start off. Pluta on the mound, and he was a little rocky, hitting Kepley, walking Vandebrake, before striking out Stevenson back in the 7th. The Tar Heels have run through DeCaro, Houck, and McDuffie. Folger Boaz may get the ball back in the bottom of the 8th. We're not sure. Both teams running through arms like nobody's business.
Would have to imagine the one arm Carolina is not going to touch, as we've said, is Ryan Lynch, who you want available for tomorrow if you need it.
Gallagher, 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. Pluta's pitch sinks low. Fastball makes it 1-0. Gavin was 4 for 5 yesterday. 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. and an 18-2 win, just to show you how little one day has to do with the next in college baseball. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. On the changeup from Pluta, 1-1.
Dave, you mentioned the Carolina no-hitter on April Fool's Day.
Yes.
That was the last time Tony Pluta gave up an earned run.
Wow.
13 appearances ago.
1 ball and 1 strike to Gallagher, leading off the 8th in a 10-8 game led by Arizona. Swing and a miss. Same pitch. This one was elevated, and it's 1-2. Temperature sitting at 86, but it might as well be 186. Scores of fans seeking shade in the concourse. The 1-2 from Pluta to Gallagher. Upstairs, 2-2. We're well past 3 o'clock for a game that started at 12:06. Harken back to yesterday, 21s were scored. We got done in a little less than 3 hours. Here's the 2-2. Gallagher flies to center. Walton is back, moving towards right center. Catch made, and there's one down. Coach Forbes said it the other day, one of the things that's made this team successful in the postseason year over year, not counting outs. The broadcast crew counts 5 remaining for the Tar Heels, unless they want to come back down 10-8 in the 8th. 1 away, base is cleared for Hunter Stokely, 0 for 2 with 2 walks.
All this managing we do up here, thinking about potential future games of series, is the antithesis of what's actually going on down in the dugout.
Initial offering to Stokely. Breaking ball. Swing and a miss. 0-1 to Stokely. Yeah, we try to put you inside the game, but there's times where the game is so far beyond what we're talking about. The 0-1. Big shift on, shading towards the right side. Pluta pauses and misses inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Carolina's first baseman, Hunter Stokely. 3 for 5 with a career best 5 RBIs yesterday. Hit his 14th home run and that 18-2 waltz. The 1-1. Stokely wisely lays off another off-speed pitch, 2-1. That was down and away from the lefty. Madera in the on-deck circle with 1 down and the base is cleared. Top of the 8th. Heels down 10-8 to the Wildcats. The 2-1. Stokely out in front of that. Bounces to Coach Jackson in the first base coach's box. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pluta gets a fresh baseball from behind the plate. Tar Heels took the long way through the regional. Could have been longer, but to play a Game 7. Carolina emerged. Might there be another elimination game tomorrow? The 2-2. Breaking ball well high, 3-2. The count to Stokely. Using history as my guide, when one team takes advantage, the other team responds. The ball right now in Carolina's court. The payoff pitch to Stokely from Pluta. Ground ball to short with the shift on, right as second base. Easy throw to first. 2 outs in the inning.
Well, Pluta got that count full, but Stokely hit it exactly where the shift was positioned, and the sure-handed Mason White makes the play. Base is empty for Alex Madera with 2 down.
This is where Carolina went to work lasting with 2 outs. Bass homered, Angelo and French singled. There was a hit batter, there was a walk. 4 runs came in, but the Tar Heels trail Arizona 10-8. Madera takes from the left side low and jumps out in front of Pluta. 1 ball and no strikes. Ahmad's 1 for 4. The single came back in the 3rd. The Wildcats have the bottom 3rd of the order. Due up in the bottom of the 8th. Kane, Splain, and Breifogel. The 1-0. Fastball inside. 2-0 to the heel shortstop. shadows beginning to creep in from the deep corner in right field. Sunlight raining down from above. The 2-0 pitch to Madera. Strike call at the belt. 2-1. The advantage has changed alternately throughout the early and middle innings. Here we are in the 8th. Arizona up 10-8. Pitch to Madera. That's flown the other way, down the line and left. It is falling towards the ground and foul by a foot. Matt, this game is a game of inches, and the double by Summerhill, which was fair down the third baseline, helped Arizona. That foul ball hurt Carolina's cause. The umpires may give this a second look. The eagle eye up here in the press box thought that was foul. We'll give it another glance. If it is overturned, what do you do with Madera in terms of placing him on base?
I would think second, because he had rounded the bag at first. It was the next base that he was going to get to. And it looks foul based upon the angles that they are showing up on the big board. Oh, yeah, it's clearly foul.
Well, clearly foul by the width of a baseball.
In super slow-mo, too.
Oh, goodness. So Miami has already won today and is forced to game 3 with Louisville. As we near 3:30, other baseball abounds across the country, Matt.
5 unanswered for Duke. They lead Murray State 5-2, top of the 6th over in Durham. Action is underway in Baton Rouge, where West Virginia leads LSU 1-0, top of the 4th. Also underway, Auburn playing for their season against Coastal Carolina, trying to sweep that super. No score, top first there.
As we suspected, it's a foul ball. And Madera backed it from the left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. 2 down. Top of the 8th. A 4 spot by Arizona in the bottom of the 7th has given the Wildcats control. 10-8. Arizona's touched up the heels for 16 hits. That's the most allowed by Carolina this year. Pluta readies to fire to Madera, who slaps a single over second base and into center field. Madera's 2 for 5, and the Tar Heels alive. Tyson Bass knocked one almost 400 feet the last time he was at the plate. And guess who's back? It's Bass.
And he has a runner on base, so Bass stands in the batter's box representing the tying run.
Carolina allowed as many as 19 hits in a game last year against Campbell. And that score fest that the Tar Heels actually won.
16-10, right?
Mm-hmm. Righty-righty matchup between Pluta and Bass. Calm comes over the crowd. Pitch on the way. Above the letters, 1-0 to the Heels right fielder. Bass 1 for 3, 2 runs scored, 3 driven in. He gave the Heels a 7-6 lead last inning. The Heels down now 10-8 in the 8th. Madera at first, the 1-0. Bass socks it foul up against the net below us. 1-1. I don't see much happening in Carolina's bullpen. This may be Boaz's inning here in the bottom of the 8th. In the meantime, the 1-1 to Bass. Over the top fastball, high. 2-1. Bass removes the helmet, slides his fingers through his hair, puts the headgear back on, squeezes the bat. Madera leads off of first. He's held by Splain. The count 2 balls and a strike. With 2 down in the 8th, the Heels down by 2. The pitch, Madera takes off, and a foul ball into the screen, moves it to 2-2. With all this speed that Carolina has, whether it's Kepley or Madera or French, to get a runner to second with 2 outs gives you so many more options. Right now, Bass just wants to move Madera off of first. The 2-2. High fastball. Bass lays off. 3-2.
3-2, 2 outs. Madera will be off and going. Anything into a gap here brings him in, makes it a one-run game. Anything over the fence ties us.
Pluta comes set from the middle of the rubber. Bass awaits from the right side. The payoff pitch. And that's low for ball 4. Pluta issues his second walk. It pushes Madera to second. And it brings Angelo to the plate. The New Jersey native who lived in the D3 ranks from 2020 to 2024 in his first year as a Tar Heel can etch himself into the lore of Carolina baseball with a big smack here. 2 on, 2 down, top of the 8th. Heels at the plate, down 10-8 to Arizona. Pluta checks to second before the pitch. Outside of the lefty. 1-0. Angelo's 2 for 4. 2 runs scored, 2 driven in. He homered in the second. He singled in the 7th. And Arizona wants to talk things over on the mound in the top of the 8th.
Pitching coach Kevin Vance making his way out. Arizona bullpen is up and going. And it appears that is the right-hander that's throwing down there, Julian Tangini. Tangini began his college career at Boston College. He, like Kevin Vance and Adonis Guzman, was part of the BC group that came here to the Bosch in 2023. Pluta is the closer, though. He is the guy that Arizona likes to have out there to wrap up victories and wrap up games. Though, worth noting, Pluta has not gone more than 2 innings at any point this year. If he makes it to the finish line, it would be 2 1/3.
He's thrown 37 pitches already today. Carolina pulled McDuffie, who threw 38. Neither starter got through 4 innings. This game has been in the pen for a while as we near 3:30. First pitch was at 12:06. We're still in the 8th. Arizona 10, Carolina 8. The Heels threaten with 2 on but 2 down. The mound meeting over, and just as soon as everybody's ready to play, home plate umpire Mark Wagers signals an eye engagement violation. And so we'll do it again with a point back towards the mound. A ball and no strikes, the count to Angelo. Right-handed pitcher on the bump, lefty at the plate. Pluta checks to second before the pitch, and Angelo swings over the top of a slider. 1-1. Madera, the lead runner at second base. Bass, who just took a walk behind him at first. The first baseman, Splain, plays near the line, near the outfield grass. The 1-1. Fastball high and outside. 2 balls and a strike to the Heels. DH. Sam Angelo, it's been a circuitous journey just through the season. He was the opening day starter as the DH. Matt, you mentioned how many lefties Carolina's faced. It's been tough to get him in the lineup, but he's stuck in the postseason. The 2-1. Angelo takes another big swing and a miss. Bottom dropped out of the slider. It's 2-2. How about the next biggest pitch of the game coming here and now with 2 on and 2 down. Arizona up 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Angelo. And he's looking at strike 3. Dropped in the breaker, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, no errors, 2 left. The Heels can't draw closer. And it's 10-8 Arizona into the bottom of the 8th from Learfield.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. Know. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. Know by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Carolina back to the field, Arizona to the plate. The Wildcats lead the Tar Heels 10-8 as we go to the top of the 8th. And a big strike three looking call against Sam Angelo. Matt, in the top half of the 8th that drew the ire of Coach Forbes and certainly his Carolina fan base. What'd you think about the call?
It seemed a little high. It seemed high. Should have been ball 3, but those are the breaks. Now the Heels know exactly what they've got to do here with Folger Boaz on the mound, and that is keep this a 2-run game. Keep yourself in bloop and a blast territory to tie it, knowing that Arizona as the home team will get the chance to answer anything.
Kane at the plate to lead off the bottom of the 8th. It's lefty versus lefty, and Boaz first pitch, a fastball for a strike. 0-1 to the DH. 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. The 0-1 skips in the dirt. 1-1 to Kane. He was the first to face McDuffie back in the 7th, and how long ago does that feel?
Very long time. Probably was a long time, real clockwise.
This game a little more than 3 hours and 20 minutes old. The Tar Heels a win away from Omaha. The 1-1. Off speed, hit on a hop over to second. Vanderbrake calmly throws over to first, and there's one down in the 8th. A win today for the Wildcats moves us to another elimination game tomorrow. Don't have a time attached to that yet if we need one. Carolina's still got some ABs to get in the top of the 9th, but it's 10-8 Arizona in the bottom of the 8th. Tommy Splain next to hit, and he's hit well today. A home run and an RBI single. Boaz misfires outside with a heater, 1-0. After winning by 16 runs yesterday, nobody said today was going to be a piece of cake. The 1-0. Check the swing. Did he go down to first? Yes. 1-1 to Splain. There just can't be another sport out there where the swings game to game can be greater than baseball.
Absolutely not.
The 1-1. Splain pulls a foul ball out of play, 1-2. Maybe one time. 1992, California. Bunch of college kids beat the Dream Team. Then the next day, the Dream Team told the college kids who runs the sport. The 1-2. Foul ball at the plate. Ball and 2 strikes.
Well, if you think about it, Arizona was run off the field yesterday by the Tar Heels. And the Wildcats essentially had 2 choices. It was either to fold, say good season, pack it in, or to battle for their year, and it's been the latter, and Carolina's been fighting all day.
Boaz misses outside with a changeup. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Splain. There's one down in the bottom half of the 8th. Kane grounded to second when he led off the inning. The Wildcats, with 4 runs in the 7th, have taken a 10-8 lead. The 2-2. Chopper to the left side. Gallagher crosses in front of the shortstop, Madera. Whips a throw to first in time to get Splain 5-3. 2 up and 2 down. Breifogel next to hit in Coach Hale's lineup. French, Kepley, Vanderbrake. That's how the 9th begins for the Tar Heels. And if you brought your Bosch Magic, I'd say it's time to use it. Lefty-lefty matchup. Boaz missed outside with a heater, 1-0.
Boaz now an out away from Carolina's first 1-2-3 inning in the field today. And a much-needed jolt of momentum going into the do-or-die top of the ninth.
The 1-0. Breyfogle looks at a pitch low. Make that 2-0. Wind pushing the flags to left on a hot, humid day in Chapel Hill. The 2-0 from Boaz to Breyfogle. Lashed the other way, foul. Over the seats, out of play.
That group that's due up, French, Kepley, Vanderbrake, they have been on base a combined 10 times in this game. You have to like that.
Is that all?
That's all.
The 2-1. Check swing, foul ball into the netting right at Carolina's dugout. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Tar Heels designated as the visiting team today, still in their own dugout, third base side. The Wildcats across the way in the first base dugout, hitting in the bottom of the 8th, up 10-8. Nobody on, and 2 away. The 2-2 from Boaz goes off speed. Bouncing ball to the right side. Vanderbrake gets to it and throws out Breyfogle by a step. There's your 1-2-3 inning. And those have not grown on trees today. First time Arizona's been set down 1-2-3. The Tar Heels were retired 1-2-3 in the 5th. And we go to the 9th. 10-8. Arizona up a couple on Carolina. Pluta's got the ball. The Heels have French, Kepley, and Vanderbrake due up at the plate from Learfield.
Quality, affordable, dependable. The characteristics that have built the foundation for B&T Heating and Air Conditioning since opening its doors in 1988. B&T Heating and Air Conditioning is proud to serve communities across the Raleigh-Durham area from right here in Chapel Hill to anywhere in between. To schedule your heating, whole house generator, or electrical service or tune-up, visit their website at bntheatingandair.com. B&T Heating and Air Conditioning, generators and electrical. Family owned and doing it right the first time, every time.
On game day, there's nothing like tailgating, touchdowns, and Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea goes down smooth and tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Carolina Baseball is presented all season long by Hardison and Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison and Cochran, 919-ALL-4s.
Arizona leads Carolina 10-8 as we head into the 9th. Dave Nathan, Matt Krause here inside Bosmer Stadium. Bryant Williams behind the scenes pushing all the right buttons at Learfield Mission Control. WBAG carrying Carolina baseball on both the AM and FM sticks in Alamance County. And wherever you are, thanks for making Carolina baseball a part of your Saturday afternoon. Heels at the plate, down by 2 runs in the 9th. Carter French leads off against Pluta, who came on back in the 7th. The righty's first pitch to the lefty. There's a swing, and there's a single into right center field. Carter French, after a career day against Oklahoma, where he went 3 for 5 with an RBI on Monday, has another career day, 4 for 5 with 4 singles today for the Tar Heels. And that brings Kepley to the plate with a runner at first and nobody down in the top of the 9th.
Carter French was inserted for his defense into the lineup, the regular starting lineup in the middle of April, but has been an offensive revelation as the season's worn on. Tying run in the batter's box.
Pluta from the middle of the rubber delivers to the plate. Ball 1 high, 1-0. Kepley has walked, flied out, singled, hit into a double play. He's been hit by a pitch. He's stolen 2 bases and scored a run. The Tar Heels down 10-8 in the top of the 9th. Here's the 1-0. Fastball outside, 2-0. The only time these two met earlier was when Pluta came into the game and plunked Kepley, and the Heels 4-run seventh. Arizona answered with 4 runs in the bottom of the seventh. That's got the Wildcats up 10-8 in the top of the ninth. The 2-0. At the letters, right at the top of the letters, 2-1. And the Carolina fan base erupts out of their 4-screen seats at the strike call. French leads off of first base. Pluta's 2-1 to Kepley. Swing, and there is a line drive, but foul over the first baseman Splain's head and deep into the corner. That's a hard hit crackerjack, but a foul ball makes it 2-2 to Kepley.
Pluto went off speed. Kepley was hunting fastball, I think. Pulled that one a little early on it.
French led off with a single. He's at first. The 2-2 to Kepley. Bouncing ball over towards third base. Mikalakis throws to second. That's the only one. That's retired. 5-4 on the fielder's choice. So the Tar Heels stay out of the double play ball, but still can advance the runner. 1 out, 1 on. Vanderbreak at the plate. He's taken 4 walks today. Scored a run, driven in a run. He's also popped out. And our first base umpire, Kevin Sweeney, says we need some time for Kepley to get off all the protective gear and get it to Coach Jackson. And there's 2 oven mitts worn by Kepley. Not just the one. He's got 2 oven mitts on both hands. With 2 stolen bases today, Kepley's got 45 on the year. There's a righty on the mound, so his back is to the runner as Vanderbreak's at the plate. First pitch. Rattles inside to Vanderbreak, 1-0. Arizona 10, Carolina 8. We're on the top of the ninth with 1 down. French led off with a single. Kepley hit into a fielder's choice. Splain holds the runner at first. Pluta's 1-0. Vanderbreak drives a fly ball. It's to center field, and it's caught. Walton has the second out. Land in his glove, and the Tar Heels down to their final out. Partner, I told you at the beginning of the game I was going to start out with the sunglasses on. If I needed to take them off for good luck, as I did in the 14th inning against Duke, it was going to happen. There's documented video evidence of this, by the way. The shades are now off, and Stevenson is at the plate. 2 down, a runner at first. The Heels down to the Wildcats in the ninth. Again, 10-8 Arizona took the lead back in the seventh. Stevenson from the left side against Pluta. Kepley takes off from first, and he's in to second without a throw. If that's a stolen base, Kepley is now third all-time in swipes with 46 in a single season. And there he goes down to third. Nobody's home with the shift on the right side. And Kane Kepley, just like that, went first to third without a throw and without a pitch. The 1-0. Downstairs, 2-0 to Stevenson. Well,
and why that's enormous is because now a wild pitch makes it a 10-9 game.
Kepley credited with 2 stolen bases, and the 2-0 pitch to Stevenson. Popped him up. Shallow left center field. Breyfogle comes in, calls off the infielder, and he makes the catch to end the inning. Carolina's comeback bid falls short. And there will be a Game 3 of the Supers in Chapel Hill. What a bounce back by Arizona. 18-2 losers yesterday, 10-8 winners today. And this one extended one more day.
Well, Dave, give credit to Arizona and their red-hot offense. Last week in Eugene, the Wildcats blasted 15 home runs. It has not been the long ball here this weekend for Arizona. Even in the lopsided defeat yesterday, they pounded out double-digit hits. Today, 16 hits for the Arizona Wildcats over the course of the game. And looking through Arizona's box score, it was merely the double for Summerhill, which was a big one in the 7th, and the home run from Splain that led to chasing DeCaro in the 4th. Otherwise, 14 singles. And Arizona did what no team has done against Carolina in a very long time, and that's chase Jason DeCaro early from a game, beat Carolina in a game started by Napper DeCaro, and for the first time ever, Walker McDuffie gives up 4 runs in an appearance. So Arizona did what no team had done, and now both teams will regroup for a winner-take-all Game 3 as the Heels and the Wildcats both face elimination tomorrow.
First time that Carolina's ever been beaten with Jason DeCaro on the mound in a postseason game. Tar Heels fall today to Arizona 10-8, and I have to imagine the meeting out in right field today for the folks from Tucson is worlds different than it was yesterday. McDuffie drops to 3-2 this year with the loss. Pluta improves to 3-0, getting the win. And Arizona has knotted this best-of-3 super with Carolina. Take a break, come back, and introduce you to postgame. Arizona prevails over Carolina 10-8 from Learfield.
Need to refresh your UNC gear? Visit the new off-campus Tar Heel Team Store located at 120 East Franklin Street in the heart of Chapel Hill. Open Tuesday through Sunday, we offer an enhanced in-person shopping experience and carry the latest designs from Nike, Jordan, Peter Millar, and more. Stop by for an official Nike replica jersey with your favorite Tar Heels name and number. The Tar Heel Team Store is your one-stop shop for all